All right, here we are. We are live. I will
All
unshare
right.
this right here. Right, let me undo this part, and we can talk to each other now. Yeah, I decided to just
Oh, you look beautiful.
put on my makeup today and all that, because it's going out to dinner.
Yeah,
Well, I
you
mean,
look
I didn't know I
beautiful.
would. Well, actually, I was going to go live, and then I said no, I needed to wait. I just kind of had a real funky day, and then my husband said, "Oh, we're going to go out to dinner," and so I was like, "Okay, great." So we're going to throw on a little more makeup, so I could,
Yeah, you look
you know,
beautiful.
yeah, good. Thank you, thank you. So go out to dinner. I don't know which camera is playing right here. It kind of looks like it must be this one. Okay, it is the right one. Okay,
Oh, I
good.
see my.
Good.
I didn't change my avatar. It totally made me start over from scratch to sign
Oh
in.
shit.
So I had to reset everything up, and I forgot to change my avatar. But I still
Well,
did
that's
it on.
okay. You could
That's
be
okay.
sprinkled donuts because that's what you are anyway. So it's okay. We,
Yeah, I don't know.
or you
I
can.
don't know why it does that sometimes. It totally kicks me all the way out, and then I got to re-sign in with either YouTube or Facebook, and I have to go through the whole password thing. It just totally boots me out sometimes. It's weird.
It is weird. A lot of there's a lot of problems with YouTube right now. There's a lot of people complaining of, golly, they're being kicked out when they're not able to chat, and when they try to get when people are live, that kind of thing. It's kind of a weird thing. And
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, we've experienced that a lot over here. But
yeah, yeah.
so the time, our title over here is Gypsy Rose. How low can you go? Right? It's, every day's a new day over here, finding all this garbage that she has done. And so here's the question that I have for everybody: if you use Chat GPT to write every speech or everything you're going to say for you, is that plagiarism or is that something else? What is it? Because, it's not really your original content. You're repeating what somebody else has, what AI has made for you. So what is it? Is it or is it not? That
Hmm.
is the question that I have.
Good point. That's a good point.
I mean, because we know that everything she does comes from Chat GPT. She's not
Yeah,
smart enough.
she has no original thought whatsoever.
Mm-mm, no.
No
Well, I
original
mean,
thought.
when you're a schmurderer, of course not. You know,
Yeah,
she's one track mind, and that's that nasty
yeah.
sexual being that she is, which is so disgusting. Whenever you look at all this stuff, you're like, good God Almighty, girl, what
Well,
happened to you?
she's just fake all the way around. She can't even have
Mm-hmm.
her own. She can't even have her own original thought to do anything. You know,
You're
like
right.
her.
She can't.
I saw some. I don't know. I don't know if it was Becca or if it was Renelle. I saw where
Oh
they
yeah, that's
were
a new one. Yeah, yeah.
replaying her live that she had. And she had her little short hair, and she was,
Mm-hmm.
just she couldn't even really hold a conversation with anybody. She just kept like, oh, happy birthday. I want to get everybody's birthday that's on it. She was talking about nothing. Talking about nothing. She kept leaving to go, hey, Leslie. She kept
Hey, there
leaving
you
to
are, Leslie.
go
Good to see you. Thank
look,
you coming in. Yeah.
talk to Ken. It was just so stupid. And then Aurora started crying and she like jumped off real quick. She was just like, oh, I gotta go.
Is Aurora
Aurora's
a real
crying.
baby? I mean, there's a lot of controversy about
Yeah,
that too. Is that a real baby or is
there
it,
is. I
what
think it
is it?
is.
You think it
I
is?
think it is. I
Okay.
do. I
Well,
do. I don't want to give her any benefits of any doubts, but I really do.
well, the thing is she planned on having a baby ever since she was pretending to be 13 years old, right?
Well, yeah.
Uh,
I mean,
that's all she ever
her
talked
dad
about.
said it. I
Yeah,
mean, her
yeah.
dad that one interview where they're sitting on the porch and her dad's like, she wants a baby, and she laughed it off. She did.
She was already pregnant then.
Oh, was she?
Uh huh. Uh huh.
I never put two and two together on that. You might be right. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, just a complete. I don't understand what that's all about. I think it's part of her mental illness, though. Actually, I do believe it's part of her mental illness because she's got this weird thing about something belonging to her. See, when you have the baby, it
Yeah.
belongs to you, basically. I
Yeah.
guess that's what.
I
Yeah.
think she thinks that baby's going to keep her safe and keep her out of prison. I think that was kind of her thing with that one. Well, if I get pregnant, then there's no way they're going to send me back to jail, which is not true, but in her sick
Yeah.
little mind,
Yeah.
who knows what she was thinking.
You're right about
And I
that.
think it was also a way to trap Ken.
Oh, absolutely.
you know?
She wanted to trap Ken as soon as she could. Well, I mean, she repeated what her mother did, right? Her
Mm-hmm.
mother gets pregnant and traps her dad, right? That was the whole
Right.
she just repeated that same behavior, which is very common in these dysfunctional families.
Well, she
You
should have
know,
realized how well that did not work for her mom. Things that her
right?
mom and dad were
Right?
not together the whole time she was growing up. But
But
yeah,
it
I think she thinks she's different.
she does think well, she thinks she's better than everybody else, but I mean, she's typical sociopath. 100%
Mm-hmm.
every trait she has it. And she shows it every day. She doesn't give one shit about other people. You know that. It's all about her,
Oh no.
herself, her. I was going to do a little meme about her with that new short haircut that she has and do a little funny, but I'm having a hard time getting my audio onto that picture. But I'm going to get it
Yeah,
done.
that poor haircut.
It's too
Ugh.
funny. It's so fucking front. She was a fruitcake, right?
Well, and she didn't cut that hair because that hair was so damaged. There's a thing called deep conditioning treatments.
Oh,
She could
yeah.
have salvaged that hair. She cut that in a neurotic manic state is what she did.
Thank you, because she did the same thing in prison, but with nail clippers.
Mm-hmm.
Hey there, Elizabeth.
Right?
Did you see? My plagiarist tries to get me on the Beach Boy shit list. God only knows what I do with that. Funny. You're so funny. I love it. She just makes me laugh so much. Thank you for coming in. We always appreciate seeing you. You're always great. You always have something funny to say. What a day, though. What a day. So we talked about this the other day. Sprinkle and I talked about this this lady. Um, Gosh, Sprinkle, what was her name now? I can't remember it right this minute. Oh, let me go back for it. I'll go back and find it over here. And I said, oh, look at this. This book.
Oh yeah. I know who
Yeah.
you're talking about. Yeah, I did actually watch an interview with her because she actually wrote a couple of books. If you put her name in YouTube,
Hmm.
one interview pops up and it's a different book that she wrote. She
Hmm.
was severely abused. I mean, her mom had went as far as to have open heart surgery done on her while she was awake. She was like 12 years old and they did whatever procedure they did to her while she was awake.
God
And she even
Almighty.
had they even had tests saying that it didn't need to be done and the mom pressure it was horrible. It was horrible.
Okay,
Horrible.
I'm gonna go pull this lady up. It's Sickened, the memoir of Munchausen, right? That's the one. Okay, hang on. Let me get this over here. Whoops, I gotta go over to YouTube, dumbass. Okay. Well, I have to do it over here. Let me
Yeah,
go to YouTube.
yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
It was a strange channel. It was like he was like a
Okay.
priest or something, a preacher. That the one that I watched, and she talked about the heart surgeries, and yeah, she was. It was terrible. It was terrible.
Okay. Um, the memoir. I just can't remember her name. Is it Julia or? Um,
I'd have to go back through our texts and
yeah,
see.
we have so many.
Yeah, I
What in
don't
the
even
world is
remember her
this?
name.
No, we don't want that.
And she
No,
didn't kill her mom. She didn't kill her mom.
no. Munchausen. Oh, and then childhood. And let's see if we can find this lady because it's kind of an interesting. I know I didn't spell that exactly right, but that's okay. Let's see. This is it right here. Right here. This is a little 4 minute, and we're going to look at this kind of quick. And this is going to be from 2 years ago, but this is full credit to Novelzilla. Okay. So let me share the page. Let me share this. Share the screen. There we go.
Gregory, which documents the
Yes,
author's
Julie
experience
Gregory.
growing
Why is
up
there
with a mother who has Munchausen syndrome by
okay.
proxy, MSBP,
All
Yeah, the
right.
one that I
Big
saw
and
was
movement.
the
psychiatric
second one down, that
caregiver,
Health Network one.
usually a parent,
Okay,
fabricates or induces illness in their child for personal.
let's see. Oh, this one. Okay, yeah, One Woman's Tree Story. And this is from 11 months ago. It's called Health Hero Network. Here we go. Much better one. Thank you.
The
That's the
pinning
one I
down my
watched.
Yeah.
mysterious illness in the cardiology department, Mom
Now,
moved into micromanaged healthcare with the logistical vigor of a drill sergeant. Look, damn
this
it,
lady
this kid is
actually
sick, all
had
right? Just look
Munchausen,
at her. And
or
so
her
help me
mother.
God, if she dies on me because you can't find anything wrong with her, I'll sue you for every cent you got.
Making your own child sick to fulfill a disturbing need for attention might seem unimaginable
I'm
to
going to have
you,
to put our little
but for a
dots on there. I
child
don't want us to get in
suffering at the
trouble.
hand of their
Sorry,
mother,
guys.
it's horrific. Munchausen by proxy, also known as medical
Put the
child
little
abuse,
ones.
is a
Yeah.
controversial term that's used to describe a behavioral pattern that a caregiver deliberately exaggerates,
I need to
makes
get
up,
this guy's
and
name.
or induces physical,
wrote that.
Dr.
psychological,
Nahi or
or
something like
behavioral
that.
problems in
Yeah.
those who
Nandi
live.
or something
I'm a
like that.
gastroenterologist, and I practice and live in the suburbs of Detroit, Michigan. I'm a big sports fan.
He became the Rhodes Scholar representative as well as the homecoming king at Ohio State.
You know, what we're trying
What
to do
has
is
that got to
replicate
do with what we were
you
just
have,
watching?
For example, in the
Yeah,
office.
they're just
You know,
talking
we
about
do
him.
answer
It moves on
questions
from
that are
here.
tough sometimes.
Okay.
Take
all right,
a topic and
I'll
really,
leave it.
really
We'll just
understand
get
and
through
develop
this
a
one.
solution. At the end,
Yeah, it
we'll
just
help
kind of gives
the
you his
patient that's in
background
front of
and
us and also
stuff.
help the patients at home as well as in
Okay.
the audience. That's the essence of what we want to do.
Dr. Nandy. I've never heard of this guy before.
Thank you. Well, thank you for that warm welcome. On this episode of Ask Dr. Nandy, we're talking about Munchausen by proxy. We have with us Julie Gregory, author of Sickened.
Oh, there you
and
go.
she's here to share her incredible and unthinkable memoir of growing up with a mother who suffered from Munchausen by proxy. Please welcome Julie.
This story is
Thank you for joining us. It's an honor. I appreciate it. So I know, reading your book, what are one of your first memories of what happened with your mom?
One of my first memories, I grew up my early years in Arizona, and sitting on my mom's lap, she said, "Honey, do you want the suckers?" I said, "Sure." And she reached in her purse and got out the suckers for me. I took one of the suckers and put it on my tongue. It was red.
Oh, no.
The sulfur taste and the real metallic zolt, happened on my tongue as it always did when I had the suckers. And she would say, "Do you want to finish the whole pack?" And I crunched it up and went for another sucker. And what my mom had pulled out was a pack of matches, the red sulfur tip matches. I was about 3 or 4 at that time. And then we moved to Ohio, and my mom began researching in books, just things that you would get like the pill book or medical digest, and then saying I had symptoms, getting medications. And by the time I was 12, she was pursuing open heart surgery.
Isn't that disgusting? You know, the thing
So
is,
imagine your first memories with your
children wouldn't
mom
know that.
is
They wouldn't know.
that she was giving you a box of matches as suckers. I mean, this is how terrible, and it's difficult for people to even understand or empathize, because what happens is that how can someone's mind be twisted in such a way that it becomes irresistible that you have to do this to your kids? And this is what we want to talk about today, is explore that, so we can have others who are suffering from this get the help they need. Also, people who are doing this also get some understanding and help that they need. We have to take a break. When we come back, Julie opens up about her childhood, the
Yeah,
medication,
he takes a lot
the
of breaks,
tests,
but
and the
it's quick.
surgeries,
It's quick.
all
It comes
laid out
right
for
back.
us is unthinkable. When we come back. Thank you for doing this. I know it's not easy.
Well, I had
is a
no
true
food in the
story,
mornings.
yes.
I had no lunch, and I wasn't given any kind of lunch money, and she wouldn't sign the
You know
paperwork
who that
for free
sounds
lunch.
like?
So I went to a country school, and I
Yeah.
just didn't notice those
Jody
things.
and Frankie, Ruby
Ruby.
Frankie.
Ruby.
No lunch.
Yep.
Yeah. You gotta wonder if she also. What is this?
Welcome back, and join me in welcoming Julie Gregory, author of Sickened, her memoir
You do trust
of
their
growing
parents,
up
Leslie.
with a mom with Munchausen by proxy.
I
Now,
cannot
Julie, we were
imagine.
talking a little bit about your childhood. Tell us what your childhood was like. Tell me what was going on throughout many years. I know you started in Arizona and then you moved to Ohio. Tell us what was
Right.
going on.
I grew up really isolated. So
They
I
always
grew
do.
up isolated in a dead-end dirt road in a double-wide trailer. My father was schizophrenic, and my mom engaged
God,
in
that's
this
sad.
child abuse. I didn't know it at the time because just like yourself, if I gave you a medication for a heart problem that you didn't have, how long would you take that medication before you started to feel physically ill?
Right.
And then if I looked in the pill book and read about a medication that caused a toxic reaction with the medication you're already taking, and I got a doctor to give me that medication to combine them, you're going to feel really ill. So as a child, you don't know that you're being made ill. It started out with little things like headaches and fevers that, were never quite documented. I mean, you can't really prove a migraine headache,
Sure.
But then my mom would begin making things up, taking me to doctors and speaking to them separately from me. And then they would come in and do some kind of invasive procedure. The first time they did that, I was 10, and it was really terrible. So it was very traumatic.
What did they do?
Well, my mom woke up, or I woke up, and what often would happen with these doctor visits is that my mom would say, "You're sick, you're not going to school today." And then she would get in the phone book and call around and try to find a doctor that could see me. If I would go to the doctor and they wouldn't do tests, or they wouldn't, take it further, or she didn't get a good feedback or a warm response, she would interpret that as me not showing I was sick enough, and I would be really physically abused. My head might be smashed into the windshield because I didn't act sick enough for her at the doctor to show them how sick I was.
Okay, for fair use, we have to stop every once in a while. Okay, Gypsy Rose Blanchard, I hope you're listening to this, because let me tell you something. This little girl really was abused, and her mother really did these things. Your mother, on the other hand, tried to find out exactly what was wrong with you. I mean, she did start out trying to find out what was wrong with her daughter, because Gypsy, with her microdeletion, I mean, that's really caused her a lot of problems as a child. But we'll just keep listening, because this lady's story is quite amazing.
So growing up being conditioned this way, when my mom says we're going to go to the doctor, you're sick, you just trip into the automatic, and you already feel sick, you're taking these medications. So when I was 10, I was sitting in the examination room. I didn't know why we were at the doctor. You don't ask questions when you're in a family dynamic like that. It's just normalized. And the nurses came in, and I was in the gown, and they shot me full of dye, iodine dye, and they inserted a tube in my urethra. My mom had told them that I wasn't able to use the restroom, and she had talked to the doctor separately from me out in the hallway because she didn't want me to counter what she was telling them.
You were 10?
I was 10.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
It felt like I was being sexually violated. It was an absolutely traumatic, horrendous experience. I had 2 people holding me down while they did this. I was screaming. I erupted in hives. And on the way home, my mom was singing in the car. She was really light and airy and happy. And I remember looking out at the fields, because we lived very isolated in the country, and I pressed my forehead to the glass. The sun was coming in, warming my forehead. And from a child's perspective, I just felt that the warmth of that sun was the only kind of light or hope that I had in my life.
Oh, wow.
I just felt really, just dropped, as any child would. And then by the time
isolated, didn't you?
I was very isolated, yeah. And then after that, I was just starved, and then my heart rate would be different when I stood up from when I sat down at a pediatrician's office, and that my mom capitalized on as having a heart condition, which got her into getting Holter monitors
so
on
she
me.
starved you so that you were dehydrated. Right. Then she took. So anybody who knows this about anything with medicine is that when you're dehydrated and you go from a lying to a standing position, your heart rate's going to go up.
That's right.
Yeah, and then so what did she do based on that?
Well, I had no food in the mornings, I had no lunch, and I wasn't given any kind of lunch money, and she wouldn't sign the paperwork for free lunch. So I went to a country school, and I just didn't notice those things, And then I did a lot of heavy work when I came home because we had a farm. So standing up and sitting down and standing up at the pediatrician's office, they noticed my heart wasn't in a normal rate. And they sent me to the local hospital to just get an EKG. And that my mom pounced on as wanting to get open heart surgery done on me. So over the next, between age 11 and age 13, I did a lot of Holter monitors, EKGs. And whenever the doctor would say, this Holter monitor is okay, there's nothing wrong here, she would just cut bait and run to another doctor and start up all again. She finally found a cardiologist willing to put me in a hospital to do an exploratory procedure. Heart catheterization. Yeah. I was in the hospital for a week. And the beautiful thing about it was that my mom wasn't around. She was in the hospital, but she was visiting patients, and she was hanging out with the nurses at the station, and she was in the library.
This was kind of a recreational time for her, wasn't it?
I got a lot of food while I was there. I ate 3 meals a day. So here's a child that's in a hospital that doesn't want to leave. And so I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to leave. And I was just happy to be there.
Let me ask you this though. What about your dad? How was he
What about
involved in any
Dad?
of this?
Anytime you have a parent that's doing this kind of perpetration, you obviously have to have another parent who's
Remember, my
equally
dad was
checked
mentally
out.
ill.
And my dad with his own mental illness.
All right, we'll stop for a minute. That's right. I forgot. She did say he was schizophrenic, so he wouldn't even notice what was going on here. But see, I mean, when you listen to this lady talk, and then you look at Gypsy Rose Blanchard's story, you can see this child really was abused and mistreated, and her mother did things to her. Gypsy Rose Blanchard, Dee Dee never had Munchausen, and it makes me sick when I hear her still going on about it like she was abused. She's already admitted the truth. I don't understand why anybody could still think that she was really abused.
Well, you cannot diagnose a dead person.
No, you
So
can't. You're right.
they diagnosed her with Munchausen by proxy after she was deceased. It's impossible to diagnose someone once they're dead.
Well, you're right about that. That's right.
But
if you've listened to anything Gypsy Rose Blanchard said, out of all of these different videos that have now came out, which are wonderful, I'm so thankful to hear them, anybody that would still believe Dee Dee did anything to her has to be an idiot. I'm just going to say it. They must be an idiot. She said it so many times that there was nothing wrong with her. We'll keep listening. This is an interesting story. I feel so bad for this child.
He's not aware of things going on.
He wasn't.
But just back to the hospital, the night before, I had been with 5 days of full meals and extras and a whole week without my mom. When they came in that night to prepare me for the surgery the next day, I had no idea what they were doing. And when she said they had to shave my body, I mean, that's just, when you're 13, that's just so invasive. It's very traumatic. I leapt to the back of the bed, I grabbed the covers, and I just blurted out, "You don't have to do this, my mom is making it up." And I didn't believe that. It just came out. I didn't conceptually understand what that meant.
But you were so frightened because of the fact that
terrified.
all these things were happening.
I would be terrified.
This is a child. Anybody who has children are just horrified what she's talking about. Is that all this is happening and you don't even know why. You have to take a break. When we come back, we'll share more with you and then find out, what happened. Finally, how did you come out and break out of this? So take a break. Please stay with us.
They made the comment, I was too busy trying to keep my 3 kids healthy. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah, that's true. When you have 3 kids all at once, I mean,
you're trying to keep them healthy, not make them sick.
Not make them sick. It's ridiculous. Okay, let's see what she says though. This is a very nice. I mean,
this is horrible.
Sad. It's horrible. But this is what it's really like. Everything else that Gypsy says.
The next part is just
bullshit.
These test results are normal. He doesn't need open heart surgery. And she said, "John, you promised me that you were going to get to the bottom of this. We were in this together. I want that open heart surgery for her."
Oh my.
And he took a step back from her and he got really stern, and he just said, "Drop it. This isn't happening."
It's not over, is it?
Okay, welcome back. We left Julie. She was talking about being in a hospital and then being terrified and then blurting out that she's making it up. Tell me what happened after that.
So I'm back in the corner of the bed. I'm terrified of having my body shaved for this surgery. They're going to cut me open the next day with my arm and my thigh and run an electrical wire in my vein and artery into my heart while I'm awake. So for being 13, it's really terrifying. And blurting out, my mom's making it up wasn't something I had ever considered before. It just happened.
So you never really considered that she was making all this up?
No, because I was physically sick. As I pointed out earlier, if you're getting medications for things you don't need, and I was getting Tenormin, which is a heart medication for a heart condition. I don't have that. That's going to make you feel physically ill. And it was being combined with lots of other medications that she would get from different doctors, none of whom knew who else was treating.
And she was the only point of reference, so you didn't know anything differently.
And she's not going to for those records. Exactly. So
they didn't have the capabilities like pharmacies do today, where they have a list of everything that you're taking and they
Right.
can see the crosses and the, the things that don't go with each other. They didn't have all that technology back then.
Right. I mean, medical records being online that are accessible from any, I think that's the best thing they ever did. And it really has saved a lot of children if you stop and think about it. So, I mean, because even with Gypsy Rose Blanchard, at her record should have been online somewhere. Some of the bullshit that went on, I don't understand, but I don't know if it was because Dee Dee was so forceful. I don't know. We'll just keep listening.
All of these floods of thoughts. My cardiologist will adopt me. I'll run away. It's going to be okay. They're going to keep me safe. They're going to find out, what's really going on. I can't believe I said that about my mom. I love my mom. I know I'm sick. I feel sick. There's a lot of different conflicting
Emotions.
things going on there. The nurse came back in. She had that solid clip to her walk that said she meant business. She sedated me and shaved me. And the next morning, they wheeled me into surgery.
Damn it.
And
Even after you said that.
yeah, they didn't. Nobody did
Believed
anything. Yeah. And just I remember, my mom was there in like her best pastels, and she had a wig on, and she just looked, in her opinion, to be ready.
She's in her element.
Yeah, she's in her element, exactly.
Oh.
My dad was there, and the white plastic loafers that he squeezed into, standing a few feet behind her. And I remember reaching out for my father in this drugged haze. I just wanted to touch my father's face. And he said, "Bye, sissy." And they wheeled me in.
God.
And the first incision they made was in my arm. It just looked like a chicken breast being filleted open. There was no blood. And, because they're medical staff, they're trying to make light and make jokes, to keep me in good spirits. You're saying, "Look, isn't that cool? You're seeing your heartbeat on television. It's like a soap opera or something, But then the doctor came in, the surgeon came in, he had a whole row of scalpels, and he took my leg and he kind of kinked it up so that it was like a big crab leg. And I was watching him, and he took the scalpel and he cut my inner thigh, and the blood just raced out across this white sheet. And at the sight of my blood, I started fighting. I started hitting people and fighting. And, there was probably 3 or 4 attending people around me. They couldn't. I was pulling the thing out of my arm. I was getting off the table.
Good for
and
her.
They said, "Get her down." So they shoved the tube up my nose and they put me out.
Oh, God.
So when the test results came back from this heart catheterization, we were standing in a major hospital and with my child cardiologist. And my mom was on a first name basis with them. She was so comfortable, And, he said, "These test results is great news. These test results are normal. Your daughter doesn't need open heart surgery." And she said, "John, you promised me that you were going to get to the bottom of this. We were in this together.
Wow.
I want that open heart
Unbelievable.
surgery for her."
Oh, my
He took a
God.
step back from her and he got really stern, and he just said, "Drop it. This isn't happening." And I just remember my dashed dreams that my cardiologist was going to adopt me, you know what I mean? And just the depression of that.
That was your only hope at that time.
That was my only hope at that
You had
time.
no way of getting out.
Yeah. And then later that day, my mom was in the phone book calling up new cardiologist. And she was saying, my child has mitral valve prolapse and she needs medication and evaluated and everything. And she just went on to a new cardiologist and got me on more medication.
Wow.
Damn
I
it.
mean, just to tell you the type of pathology we're talking about, she feels, and so if you have to recognize these signs that she's talking about, the mom's at her inner element, in her Sunday best,
It's horrible,
walking
isn't
up
it,
and down
Leslie?
when your child's suffering. Most normal parents are distressed to the nth degree. They're wondering what's going to happen. Is my child going to be okay? And they're not in their Sunday best. They're not gleeful.
That's
And
right.
those are signs that all the hospitals missed, all the doctors missed. Because I know, I mean, when I deal with even adolescents, not even young children like you were at that time, the amount of worry that these parents have. But this is a pathological condition. These folks are such good actors. This is what they do and live for. They fool almost everybody. And so what happens is when you get fooled, how did you finally escape? What happened?
You know, it wasn't just me that this was done to. My mom, when I was in the 10 or 11 age range, she started to do this to my brother.
Oh
And
no.
my dad, in our family, girls are not important, boys were. My dad got involved. He wasn't able to save me, but he was going to save my brother. And so what my mom did is she gained a license for foster children.
Oh
And she also
God.
gained a
Worst
license
person.
for old war veterans. She only took the diabetic war veterans, the ones that would be given insulin, and she over insulated them so that they would be kind of in a
Sick.
stupor.
Oh.
Okay. So she kept them.
I mean, her mother should have been arrested. Look, not only for what she did to her, but look what she's doing to these veterans that she took into her home. Nobody noticed they were being over medicated. Oh my God. This is really horrible. So glad we're watching this. I had no idea. There we go.
In a locked room.
Damn.
Really sick woman, huh?
In our trailer that she had built an interior room that was about 10 by 8. They sat in lazy boy recliners with trash bags in the seats, and they would soil themselves, and she would let them out once a
Wow.
day to eat at a card table, and she would take all the leftovers from the refrigerator and just mix them together like you would feed, you know,
Cattle.
Damn.
and just put the cold slop out. And so my mom developed this rotisserie of people that she could take to doctors over and over again. And
Nobody picked up on this.
well,
Nobody.
there's no way to. How would anybody?
wouldn't you see
If
that
you
all
have
these-
separate doctors and there's no forwarding of medical records, who is
Small
going to
town.
possibly know? She would go to other towns.
Wow.
You can go anywhere,
Oh
you know,
my
you
God.
can drive 40
Yes,
minutes
Leslie,
in
oh
any
my God.
direction and intersect with 3 or 4 different cities or towns, you know. And if a doctor wouldn't go very further, she never went back to that person. She was always seeking, and those records would never
She was
be
a
forwarded.
professional. This is what she
Yeah.
did all the time.
Well, the underlying psychopathology of these perpetrators is they are psychopathic. You know, so my mom has an 8th grade education, but she's very cunning and she's very manipulative and knows how to do that. And, you know, the thing that happened is after the heart surgeries, she was able to go on and get other things done to me. And how I got out of it was I finally found
Let
someone.
me have you hold that thought. We'll
Yeah,
take a
sure.
break. When we come
Wow,
back, we'll find out
Lee.
how she got out of it.
Okay,
Please stay with
thank
us.
you.
Thank you.
She has submitted this child to the hospital for apnea or passing out, and she is going to create this child to pass out. There's a light monitor. The child's struggling.
Let me take this off.
If you were to listen, you would hear him gasping for breath.
Oh my God. That's all. Okay. Let me just give y'all a trigger warning. I don't know what she's fixing to show us, but I think it's about the little child with the salt and cream to the IV. I think that's what this is.
So welcome
Yeah, I
back. We
didn't watch
left
it
you.
this far, so I can't even
Julie
tell
was
you.
talking about how she
Good God.
escaped
I'm glad
from
we're
this
watching it
horrific
cold with
situation.
our
So
with
tell
our
us,
friends
please.
in chat,
What
so
I
we
was
all can
saying
get
is
the
that
real
my mom
action, you know.
didn't just have me, but she also had a license for foster
Golly.
children and war veterans. And, you know, when I was 16, I finally did find someone to believe me about some of the abuses that were happening to the foster children. I didn't know it was Munchausen by proxy. There was lots of other violence as well. But when they went to talk to the children, that's when they discovered the war veterans in this locked inner room. And so
Damn.
everybody got taken away and the licenses were revoked. And
Thank
because
God.
it was such a
Yeah,
dangerous
trigger warning,
situation,
trigger warning.
and I
Thank
had
you,
been the
Leslie.
one to facilitate that, I had to go into protective custody because
Thank
my family made death threats, my mom especially.
Made death threats.
Yeah, to me, against me. So I was 16. I went into protective custody, child custody.
This is this
And,
her childhood. How
You know,
horrible.
as a lot of abused kids, I was too scared to testify against my parents in a court. You have to face them. You have to, you know, and there's always a chance you could be sent back home. So I didn't choose to testify against them, and I was sent back home. And
Well, you were.
Oh,
yeah, I was sent
no.
back home when I was 17.
Damn.
Yeah. And right after that, my parents, they burned the house down. So they burned our house burned down, and they got an insurance settlement, and they went back later to do an investigation on how that house fire happened. But at the time, you know, it's a rural community, and there's probably not a lot of authority with certain things like that. And it's a double wide trailer. So, you know, there's just not much investigative kind of stuff. And when the house burned down, my brother and I, we lived, I have a younger brother, he's 7 years younger. And we lived in a small pull behind camper without even a bathroom. I was a senior in high school, and he would have been 7 years younger. And we got on the school bus. We didn't tell anybody that our parents weren't there. We didn't want to go into foster care or be
So
separated.
the parents just left you.
Yeah, my mom went to Mexico, and my dad moved away and moved into a garage. and got a big flag that
just
said,
left the
kill them
kids
all,
there.
let God sort them out, you know, POW-MIA flag.
Wow.
And so I took care of my brother, and we were very, very tight. You know, I love my brother very much.
Can I tell you something though? You know, we're talking about
That
this in
is
such a matter-of-fact
sad.
way.
Yeah.
You suffered unimaginably. You suffered more than anybody I've heard talking like this. And the fact that you're sitting here and as strong as you are and talking to us is a testament. And I think you're a
Thank you.
hero. You really are. I mean, that
Okay, you have to stop for a minute. Okay, Gypsy Rose Blanchard, I really wish you would come and watch this live. I wish somebody would tell you to come see what I'm showing, because this is a child who was abused by a mother with Munchausen by proxy. Okay, 100%. Can you imagine being 17 years old, living in a camper trailer? I mean, just with no bathroom, raising your little brother who's 7 years younger than you because your parents just moved off and left you there. That is the most horrible. How in the world how could, damn, where is her mother now?
How did they
She
survive? How did they
Yeah.
freaking survive? I mean, my God. By
How
the
did
grace
they
of God
survive?
only. By the grace of God only.
And she didn't say anything. If she would have just said something to the church or somebody would, that is, bless her heart. I mean, in the sweet way, bless her heart, not the ugly Southern way. Okay, let's just keep going. This is amazing.
it's not just saying that.
Oh my goodness.
Because the odds are against this happening. I mean, the odds are
Right.
against you coming out of the situation as strong and as well as you are. And that's an amazing feat. As one of the things, how angry were you when you were 16 or 17? It's different when you were 10. When you knew this was happening, you're frightened, but were you also angry because you kind of understand what's going on?
I think that just going back into being drugged and having things done to me made me more subversive than angry. And I think that the child's mind, the psyche, cannot really comprehend and handle in a full-on way the what's really happening. The parent to whom you trust, to whom you say I love you, to whom you're bonded, is actually using you as a shoehorn to get into the medical establishment and making you sick and causing you problems and keeping you out of school. When I was 15, my mom had kept me out of so much school for the medical stuff. She was able to go to a new doctor, a plastic surgeon, and say that, I wasn't getting enough oxygen to my brain and that I was MRDD, and they did an operation on my nose and I ended up in a facial cast. I mean, you are just
What
kept
in the hell?
in a place of being
Who paid
kind of
for
like
it?
a POW, no child. And medical
Just
things
torture.
hurt.
Sheer torture.
They are
It is
traumatic.
torture.
You don't heal from them overnight, and you're just used as a guinea pig. So I don't think I had time to be angry. I was angry later.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: you got a video that you want to show us that'll really kind of demonstrate what's going on. Would you kind of go through that video with us?
Absolutely. It's
Okay,
a
we'll
really
play it
powerful
here
video
for you.
This is a real case.
So a lot of times people don't understand, this is a woman who's put her child in a hospital saying the child vomits. You can see she's shoving her fingers down the child's
Oh my
throat to
God.
try to make the child vomit. This is a woman who has an infant here. She's going to pull that infant's face over. She lifts her breast and leans her entire
my
weight
God.
over the infant's body.
So she stops
She
breathing.
has submitted this child to the hospital for apnea or passing out, and she is going to create this child to pass out. There's a light monitor. The child's struggling. If you were to listen, you would hear him gasping for breath.
Oh my.
And
I'm glad we can't
he
hear
is
it.
going to stop struggling soon. His light monitor is going to go off, and then surveillance, hospital staff's going to come in. Now they're watching this the whole time. She sees that
Oh
he
my
hasn't passed
God.
out yet, so she does it again. And what I want you to understand is that this is not a little bit of child abuse. This
No,
child's
that's-
life is in danger every second it's with this woman. Would you want this child to go back to this mother?
No, hell no.
Exactly. So what hospitals do is, see the light monitor?
Uh-oh.
It's going off now, indicating to
can't
the
breathe.
staff. The staff comes in, turns on the light. And the ethical point of contention of these
Should've had her
videos is
arrested.
that they don't just have this happen once, an hour later it's going to happen again. They need to get this woman doing this repeatedly to be able to protect this child. And that's because courts have commonly in the past, they have put children back into the homes of these mothers and they end up dead.
They sure do.
So what happened in this is that this mother did go to jail and is barred forever from having this child or any other child.
Amen. Give her a hand. Amen.
Oh, that is horrific.
That is horrid.
So we went through this entire story, but what you talked about. For those of you watching at home, it's she came here so that nobody else has to go through what she did, and that is a lesson. If you suspect anybody of having the same horrific experience that she did, or if you're a healthcare practitioner, we need to be better prepared to really understand what's happening, and that it may be a controversial diagnosis, but I would say if there's any suspicion of this, at least it should be investigated. And it's not easy. It's not easy, like you talked about, to get in a court of law and actually prove this. But I think the reason why we're doing this, the reason why you've taken the time to go through this experience again, is so that people understand, are more aware, so this doesn't happen again. Thank you very much for sharing.
Thank
I
you so
appreciate
much
it.
for
This is my
sharing.
life's work.
Okay.
Thank you. Next, what to do if you suspect someone you know.
All right. I mean, that is, let me come back over here. That was horrific. I'm so glad they showed that. Bless their heart. Yes. No, it's a weird sense of humor. Thank you. I'm sorry. But you always, Elizabeth, you always hear that people say, well, bless their heart. And I mean, in the Southern way. Well, that's a negative way. That's not a positive way. But this lady, good Lord, she went through hell. She went through hell. And there's a lot of cases where you see a lot of it, and we've seen a lot of it on YouTube. They actually do put out the film of these mothers injuring these children in these hospitals. We've seen a bunch of them, But her story is quite amazing. I'm so glad we watched that. I really, you just want to go out to Gypsy Rose Blanchard and ask her, what the hell is wrong with you, you dumbass? You need to quit claiming all this garbage, because you are the reason why you were in the wheelchair and everything else, because you enjoyed killing her mother. Not only physically, but mentally, emotionally, because for years and years her mother's pushing her around. I mean, all these things were happening, and she's over there just acting like, I'm a spoiled ass little bitch brat. That's what she is. But let me go see if there's another. Hang on a second. I want to see if that. Let me see. There is another one of these, and I think it's the lady that does the puts the salt in her child's tube. That is horrible. But that's another one of those who actually had Munchausen by proxy, and I think she was arrested and she is in prison. Let's see. I know this is hard to watch, but this is real. Okay. Yet this hospital bathroom, Spears. Did a New York mother poison her son with salt? Here we go. Yeah, she did. This was 11 years ago.
5-year-old Garnett
It's real.
Spears died at the end of January after being taken off life support. And authorities are reportedly investigating his mother after the boy reportedly was found with high levels of salt in his body. The Journal News
How
dug
do you do that? Look
extensively
at that
into the
beautiful
story and
child.
reports 26-year-old Lacey Spears fed her son through a feeding tube connected to his abdomen. And a huge red flag for investigators is the high concentration of sodium found in the bag she used to feed Garnett. Spears denies any wrongdoing. The outlet reports as Garnett lay in the hospital dying, Spears called a neighbor who requested anonymity to go inside her home and dispose of one of the feeding bags. The neighbor retrieved the bag but called police.
Thank God.
Lab results revealed a dangerously high amount of sodium content inside the bag. Authorities are now trying to prove whether Spears suffers from Munchausen by proxy, when parents harm their children in search of attention or sympathy for themselves. Throughout Garnett's life, he struggled with medical issues, and Spears kept friends and family up to date via social media. She would often write about her love for
as
Garnett,
well, like getting
and she
money.
started a blog, Garnett's Journey,
yeah.
writing, "Healing takes courage, and we all have courage, even if we have to dig a little to find it." Spears, who is staying with family in Kentucky, has hired a defense attorney who says she is devastated by the loss of her son.
No, she
Rebecca
wasn't.
Spears, Lacey's sister, said Lacey did nothing to harm him. She loved him and did everything she could to care for him and protect him. As of Monday, no charges had been filed against Spears. For Newsy, I'm Jasmine Bailey.
Eventually they were filed against her, though, because she ended up in prison.
5-year-old Garnett Spears.
I cannot believe how do these parents do this? I don't understand. Here's the salt. Here's where she was sentenced. Let's watch this right quick. It's kind of short, but it's right here. Yeah. Oh, can you hear it? Kind of low. Let me see if I can.
This was not a spontaneous or ill-conceived solitary act. It was a series of planned and orchestrated actions that really shocked the conscience. Instead of nurturing and protecting a beautiful child, you subjected him to 5 years of torment and pain. One does not have to be a psychologist to realize you suffer from a mental illness, known as Munchausen by proxy. I hope you, over the next few years, come to terms with your condition and are receptive to any treatment that may be available to you.
Let me turn that up a little bit. It's kind of low, but
he had a right to grow up and a right to grow old, and she stole that from him. She committed the ultimate betrayal that a mother can do. She was supposed to love him, nurture him, care for him, and protect him. And she did the complete opposite, and she killed him.
By not imposing the maximum sentence,
you should have.
Combining punishment with something that you really did not exhibit towards your son, namely mercy. By not imposing the maximum sentence, I in no way mean to diminish the life of Garnett, which is precious and beyond value.
Following after that date.
Why is it so hard to hear?
Minutes remanded.
Steph, you right?
We'll take a 5-minute recess while we immediately exit.
Wow. Let's play
a judge in White Plains today sentenced a mother to less than the maximum for poisoning her own child, saying he hopes she gets help behind bars. CBS 2's Lou Young was in the courtroom as Lacey Spears was sentenced for murder.
Mr. Spears, is there anything you'd like to say before sentence?
Lacey Spears offered no explanation or apology before being sentenced for the killing of her bright-eyed, blonde-haired son. She listened to obvious discomfort as first the prosecutor, then the judge recapped her crime of poisoning 5-year-old Garnett Spears with salt using a feeding tube that should have been removed years ago. They say she kept him sick in a world of doctors and hospitals and ultimately killed him to harvest sympathy in mommy blogs and online posts.
He had a right to grow up.
That's sad. Okay.
And she stole that from him.
Spears turned away for much of it, her hands cuffed behind her back.
Look, no emotion, nothing.
Her actions were beyond depraved, despicable.
Just standing there.
When Lacey Spears turned her back in the courtroom, I could clearly see her face from the gallery. At times, she was crying, her bottom lip quivering. Other times, she looked up at her attorney with an incredulous expression on her face, as if to say, I didn't do it.
How could a mother ever treat her innocent child in such a callous, inhumane, and calculating manner?
The state asked for the maximum penalty, the defense for the minimum, and the judge split the difference, mentioning for the first time the mental illness at the heart of the horror.
One does not have to be a psychologist to realize you suffer from a mental illness, known as Munchausen by proxy. I hope you, over the next few years, come to terms with your condition by not imposing the maximum sentence on combining punishment with something that you really did not exhibit towards your son, namely mercy.
It's a sentence of 20 years to life.
20 years
5
to
less
life.
than the maximum, 5 more than the minimum. In White Plains, Lou Young, CBS 2 News.
Spears' attorney rejected.
Munchausen by proxy is actually extremely rare. According to what I've read here, this is statistics as of 2023. A review, it is estimated that about 1,000 cases of child abuse reported annually in the U.S. out of 2.5 million are related to Munchausen by proxy. So 1,000 out of 2.5 million are related to Munchausen by proxy. So that's very, very, very small.
You think that's because they can prove it in those cases, but not in others? You know, because I mean, look at Ruby Franke. Look at Lori Vallow.
And it says that only 4 perpetrators resulted in imprisonment. So 14% of that 1,000 actually went to jail.
Listen to Elizabeth's story. She goes, well, there was this nurse I rented a basement from that met Ted Bundy. And who's Ted Bundy? Security guard at the TSC you're attending. Oh, funny. Yeah. That's funny. Elizabeth's always so funny. I just love it when she starts telling. She makes me laugh so much. Anyway, but, you know, I think that I really do believe that Lori Vallow kept Tylee ill because she needed the attention. That is the only reason why she wanted JJ, is she needed the attention. You know, because her whole life was about attention, me, and that was her. You know? And then you got, look at Ruby Frankie and her situation. Now, that's another interesting story over there about allowing someone to totally abuse your children in the name of God, in the name of religion. So sick, you know. I know this. I'm gonna turn this off. Hang on a second, guys. So I know really it was, Gypsy Rose. How low can you go? But the whole thing was to bring out the fact that she is the worst of the worst, lying piece of shit that she is. This really happens to people. People are really injured. These babies are killed, from this very thing that she's trying to put on her mother that was never true. Julie Gregory is a survivor, and her story is great. And I'm so glad I kind of found it. It was just we're just reading along. And I was like, oh my God, look at this sprinkle. So but I'll tell you what's weird. If you go out to AI and you put in the words in Julie Gregory and Gypsy Rose Blanchard, this is what it says. Because I guess it doesn't know how to fix itself yet. It needs to fix itself. It says, are both high-profile cases of individuals who were victims of Munchausen by proxy, now often referred to as factitious disorder. Why is AI continuing this? They need to fix the records. She does not need to keep being thrown into there when it was all a big lie, It makes me sick that it's still happening like that. Gregory survived. And it talks about... then it goes back to Gypsy's case. The next part, it just says that Gypsy, Dee Dee. Then it talks about the abuse was forced. No, it wasn't. And then it talks about the crime, where she took her mother. And then it talks about the outcome, that Gypsy pled guilty to second-degree murder, blah, blah, and served 8 out of 10 years. The relevance. Her story was widely publicized through documentaries. The extreme tragic consequences of unchecked Munchausen. Bullshit. See, this is wrong. I wish they would quit doing this. No, they didn't share any awareness. I mean, they did not share anything because Gypsies was all a lie. But, okay, now, I want to go over to, I just wanted to show that, but I want to go over to Reddit because, there's this Gypsy snark thing over there on Reddit. Hang on a second. And today, when I was out there just searching for things, I love to go to Reddit and just take a look and see what's going on. So hang on, let me pull this back up. I'm telling you, that chick is one sick. Oh, you know what? No, let's do this. I'm gonna talk about this, and then I'm gonna go show this other video. Hang on a minute. Oh boy. Okay. News story and website. Listen to this. Okay. There's this, she got this stupid ass picture of herself. OfficialGypsyRoseBlanchard.com. Then it goes, this is her official thing on Instagram. Now this is what it says. My name is Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and I'm a New York Times best-selling author and advocate for healing, accountability, and personal growth. I am the author of My Time to Stand, a memoir that chronicles my life and journey with honesty, depth, and reflection. And the whole damn book is a lie. Through my writing, I share my story, not to be defined by the past, but to eliminate the power of truth. Oh. Everybody get your feet up out of the floor. It fixes to be full of shit, okay? Get your feet up but not to eliminate the power of truth, resilience, and transformation. My work speaks to those navigating trauma, recovery, and the complex process of rebuilding one's life with intention and grace. Oh my God. All I can say is everybody keep going to, there's actually more to it. It says, I'll finish reading and then we'll talk about this next thing. Today I focus on creating meaningful conversations around healing, self-acceptance, and moving forward after adversity, whether through writing, podcasting, or, I got to go to page 2, or public dialogue. My goal is to foster an understanding. Oh, come on, open back up. Okay, it's to foster an understanding and compassion and hope, especially for those who feel unheard or misunderstood. Now, I'm telling you, ChatGPT wrote this whole thing for her because she can't write anything for herself. I am a mother, a partner, and a woman committed to growth and accountability. Oh, God. Well, why don't you stand up and tell the truth? Rewrite your book truthfully and quit claiming that you are a victim of Munchausen because you clearly were not. I believe that people are more than the worst moments of their lives, and the real change is possible when honesty meets responsibility and time. My platform is rooted in authenticity. Oh my God. Calm reflection and progress, not controversy. I strive to use my voice responsibly, with purpose, and with respect for my past and the future I am building. That is the most garbage I've ever heard. What do y'all think? It's terrible, isn't it? Just terrible. And then people start going, "Oh my God!" There's all these things people are over here. She's so ridiculous. She claimed the whole live on in INTW, which is, I don't know what that is. They played 3 to 4 minutes of her hard work, adding comments, and the live was almost 3 hours. Her live was almost 3 hours, which they can do. Let's see, what else to say? Her mother knew something was wrong with her, and she killed her as Dee Dee wanted to finally tell someone. See, I agree with that. I think that too. I think she must have at least partly told someone. Rod would know, in my opinion, that there are problems with his daughter, and he is just not telling. No, because he wanted the money. He's just like the rest of them. It was all money driven. There are videos over here that has proved that Christy, Rod, all of them were lying the entire time. The entire time they knew, but they just kept on and on. So let's go over here, and I'm going to just play something from. I got to move down some of this. I wish I could show TikTok on here, but I think I can show my TikTok, but I don't think I can show somebody else's. I don't think it plays. Let's see if we can get it to play. Hang on a minute, guys. Okay, we'll just do this now. We'll go see if I can get the TikTok to play, because there was when she went on there and did all that crap, I was like, oh God, her new account, blah blah blah. Right? Come on, damn it. I'm sorry. She just makes me so mad. Okay, go TikTok. Okay, now let me go over here. See, there's no sound right there, but hang on a second. Let me pull up my profile. There's me. And we're going to go over here and we're going to search for, let's search over here, Gypsy Rose. Hang on. Hey, I think I can play this, guys. I hope so. Woo-hoo. Let's see. No, not me. Over here. Oh, over here. I got to search the right way. Gypsy Rose Fletcher. Okay. Not my stuff, but. Okay, hang on. Now she's got all kinds of pages over here. Okay, look at this right here. I'm going to play this, and I'm going to have to put a screen over it, okay? You listen to this stupid shit. Okay, let me get this back up here because I got to share the screen. Okay, and I have to make sure you can hear it. Here we go.
In the last 2 years.
Can y'all hear that?
So I went from a natural brunette.
Sometimes it won't play the sound.
To dyeing my hair blonde.
Okay, blonde. All right, good.
And then back to brunette with box dye. Did it myself. Bad. Okay, so back to blonde.
It's very robotic. It's very hard to understand.
Back to brunette.
Oh God,
with
yes.
Dye, and back to blonde. So unfortunately, my hair can only take so much until I fried it. So I had to start fresh. I had to give me a haircut. So I cut my hair in September.
Oh,
it was
right.
either August or September of last year. And so this is the growth that happened so far. I think it's about 4 inches at the top.
She said August, September of last year. I didn't think it'd been that long. What do you think, Sprinkle? I don't remember it being that long. Do you? Or has she been wearing? You know, this is a lie right here. This is a lie. She's lying to us right here on TikTok. Oh God, this is the video that I'm going to put my own recording to and make a little meme out of it. God, oh Lord, here we go. We'll just keep listening. God Almighty.
I did trim the sides. I watched a TikTok video that told me that you have to like taper the sides so everything could grow out a certain length.
Where's all your money? You can't afford a haircut?
I probably shouldn't have done that, but
it's very robotic, little red. You can hardly understand it.
Really? Okay, because I can hear it. I hear it perfectly, but okay. Well, then we'll just get off of that. But I look at this and I'm going, Ken Arthur, are you freaking kidding me? This is the love of your life, the mom of your child, the woman you want to spend the rest of your life with. However, there are rumors, and just a second, let me bring this up. that they don't live together, that she is having to live back with Christy and them, and that I think he has the baby. This is something I have heard. I don't know if it's true, but let's just check on this. Who has their baby? Who has the baby?
Well, there was a sound of a baby crying during her TikTok live or Instagram live or wherever she was on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether or not that was an actual baby or if it was just AI generated noise, I don't know. But she, as soon as that baby started crying, she jumped down off that live immediately.
Yeah. Well, remember though, let me look down here. Okay, I can see, like, I can hear some weird thing happening right here. So I'm going to get off of TikTok because it really never does work right over here on. I don't know why it doesn't work right, but it just really doesn't. We'll just go back to YouTube and I'll find that other. Hang on a second. Let me find that other one. Oh Lord, the latest news. Look at all these bombshell things. Oh God, and it's nothing new. What's the latest news? There's nothing new on Summer Wells. None. Okay.
No, there's nothing.
There's nothing new on. There's nothing new on Jack and Lily. There's nothing new on Gypsy Rose Blanchard for sale. What? What is this? Oh yeah, that was her stupid little videos. When was this? Christy told Gypsy she should sell a picture of the baby Aurora. Okay, now here we go. Hang on a second. Okay.
Yeah, she was bragging about how like one of her wigs was $2,300 and one of her wigs was $2,800, and she dyed one of the wigs and is cutting the wigs herself, and it was just stupid. Just made her look like a bigger idiot than she already makes herself look like.
Well, look here. This is from 4 hours ago, and it's from Renelle Smith. Let's go ahead and enjoy a little bit of this one.
I think that's probably the one that I watched. I think that's probably it.
Okay. Let me get back over here to my okay.
Because I like her and I like Becca for Gypsy content.
Oh, hello. All right. Let me share this screen right here. I'm gonna share this page, and we'll just enjoy this a little bit. Share the screen, and this is Renelle, and she has already blocked this Renelle. Well, actually, let me just say this. She actually put a strike on Renelle over here for covering her. She has put so many. This is get full credit to Renelle Smith and that she's got strikes on all these people. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Whoops. Okay, why am I looking like? What does it look like? Oh, there's my. I was like, oh no, did I lose my chat? No. Okay, okay. I don't know why it's not playing. Hang on a second. Okay. Okay.
There's so much going on in the chat.
Yeah, this is the one that I watched.
Yeah, okay.
I do like Lady Gaga.
She keeps going off to go talk to Ken.
Lady Gaga. Heated rivalry. No, I've never seen that. Have I seen Wicked? No, I was supposed to go to see the. I don't know what. It's the third movie. I haven't even seen the first one. I was gonna go see the third one with a friend of mine, but we both had stuff. Oh, beautiful! Thank you, Sheldon. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Maddie.
How many people? Now look, how many? Gypsy Rose.
How big is my house?
And making sure he has everything he needs.
It's big enough.
I don't think
Ken's
really there. What do you mean, Gypsy? Are you living in an apartment?
Do I like Taylor Swift? Girl, are you brand new? Yes.
So ridiculous.
Hi from England. Hi.
I don't even know if I can sit and watch it. She makes me so disgusted.
Hi, Raven.
Yeah. Some people have the best.
I took a bunch of pictures of Parker with like Snapchat filters and just sent them all to Ken.
Who is Parker? Who is Parker?
France. Wow.
Yes,
honey. If you're watching, I can open a stick of butter and leave it on the counter for you.
I mean, he's working though, so I doubt he's even watching my live right now.
Really, Gypsy?
New Zealand. I've always wanted to go to New Zealand too.
I didn't think he had a
What
job.
happened to my podcast? My podcast is in.
What happened there? Did it get shut down or? Okay. Yeah. See, I don't think we can access it anymore, can we? That's so strange. Huh? Anyway,
he's not at the bar anymore. He's out doing something else.
Oh yeah. Okay. Now he's actually working. I see. Gypsy can't stand the heat. I love Becca Scoops. I'm telling you, I love it. Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her toothbrush. This is funny. Now listen, I'm not a. And why? Who is this picture? Who's that baby? I don't think that's really her child. I think that's an AI thing right there. What do y'all think? I don't think it's really her child. Let's see what he's got to say. He's kind of funny, but he's not really my favorite. Oh, he's too freaking loud.
Admit anything they've done! Living off a coffee cup! None of you want to touch! You're a fucking god!
I'm gonna get off of that anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna get off of that. Okay. So we're just gonna get off of YouTube altogether and just start talking about it. Anyway, just a lot of crazy shit that I don't, this woman is like, it's like she has no awareness at all of self. She feels she feels no pressure, no nothing. It's like she just continues on like it doesn't matter what anybody says about her. She just ignores it all and just keeps going on, rolling over people like she's some kind of a steamroller. None of it matters. How can you live like that? I mean, how can you have no embarrassment? I mean, no shame, no nothing? It's craziness. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
Nothing.
I don't understand it. Now, hang on a second, guys. I'm going to see if I can pull this up right quick, so just bear with me. This is that all the things we downloaded from her. Let me see if I can go down here and find it. Oh, shit. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Not pictures. It might not let me do it from there, but I downloaded that whole file of stuff from Into the Weeds. And let me pull this back up. I think I can pull it up from over here. Hang on just a second. We'll just talk about something else for a second. I mean, it's like I know that eventually people are going to be like, I don't want to talk about her no more. I don't want to talk about her no more, right? Because there's really nothing new to talk about. It's always the same old thing. Now, we really do want to keep continuing on with our truth train because we want her off of social media. Because I don't think, this is like some of these other things. I don't think it's going to make a whole lot of difference, but we still try, right? We still try. No matter what happens, at least we can say we tried. Okay. That's all I'm going to say about the truth train thing, because every day somebody's putting something out, every single day. And every single day she puts a strike on somebody. And then every single day she's over there changing hers to something else now. It's like this cat and mouse thing that's never going to change. Come on, why can't my phone pull this back up? Come on.
Yeah, she's just a hot mess.
Okay. And here's another thing. She breaks the rules on everything and nobody ever says a word. You can't have two TikTok accounts. You are not allowed to give your account to somebody else like she did and then open a brand new TikTok account. How is this allowed? I don't understand
I don't understand.
Why is nobody doing anything? It makes me sick.
I don't understand. And she's verified on the new one too. I don't understand.
How is that happening? Almighty. Listen, Gypsy Rose Blanchard thinks that people are making her a trend. No, Gypsy Rose, get some self-awareness. You're not a trend. You're a piece of shit. People are making fun of you.
You're a laughing stock.
Yes. And then she goes, looks like she's changed her YouTube title again. And it's no longer Gypsy Rose and Ken. Now it's just her. She says, rebuilding my life on one day at a time. Really? Okay. Right. Facts. Anyone who would be on her podcast is brave, because we won't let this profiting off of your crime nonsense go anymore. So anyone associated with her gets the truth. Right. People are just going to keep going. Yeah. And this one says, I am 90% sure that the film or producer, unlicensed trauma counselor from last month that she was supposed to interview has completely ghosted her And once that she found out that Jip wasn't going to pay her anything and expected her to donate her time. But Gypsy sure wants to be paid for everything, doesn't she? Now, this is kind of something. Everything she's attempted to do has fizzled out. We've got the drip painting business, which was somebody else's business, but she tried to make it her own. We've got the family vlog thing. She did two podcasts, and that's it. I mean, she did write a book, but did it half-assed, and it wasn't even real, and she didn't even read it before they put it out. She didn't proofread it or anything. And now she's going to revise this book. Here's the question. Who is going to buy this revised book knowing it's just another pile of lies? Gypsy, stop it. Shut up. You know? Then she says there's a comment on another post talking about partnering or doing a podcast with a church. It must be in relation to her newest Instagram post. It'll be interesting to see if they have a reaction to her fizzling that out too. I mean, it just won't happen. It's not going to happen. What church? Now, I know that churches are like, oh, well, we forgive and forget. You ask for God's forgiveness and he gives it to you. I know that, right? But when you're talking about somebody who has taken a person's life because she was so interested in DICK, actually, I guess. I mean, this hypersexualized, I don't know what to call her. What church is going to allow her to be a leader of any? She doesn't know the Bible. How is she going to lead anything? Is the church going to use her because, hey, Cinderella, good to see you? Is the church going to use her to make their church, to put the name of their church out there? Are they just going to use her? Because that would not be the right thing to do. That's not being godly, is it? If you're just using Gypsy Rose Blanchard to get the name of your church out there by letting her run some kind of fake ass group, which I can see that happening. What do you think, Liz? Sprinkled?
Yeah, and then she did block on her block list. There is a church. I'm dying to know why she blocked that church, because there is a church on her block list.
Wow.
I want to know why she blocked that church.
Well, it's probably the church that Dee Dee went to. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe it was that church. I don't know, but it's crazy. I can't imagine. I'm going to see if I can find anywhere out here where she has any kind of discussion with a church that we can actually watch. So hang on, we'll just talk for a minute while I look for this. Hang on a minute. Let's see, Gypsy Rose.
Well, she'll be done with church by next week because she can't hold on to anything for more than 2 weeks' time. You know, she's all full throttle into something, and it lasts literally 2 weeks before she's on to something else. So that'll all change by February. That'll all be different anyway.
I hope so, because she really just does not need to be leading a group of anybody. And the fact that, would you ever pay money to let your child talk to her on a phone or get a cameo or anything like that? Wouldn't you be afraid? Wow, what area of the United States does she live? She lives in Louisiana still. They talked about moving to Austin, but God, no, I would find a way to run her out of Austin. Hell no. I think Ken's mother lives in Austin, I think. Is why they came to Austin in the first place that time. But yeah, she still lives in Louisiana. So, based on recent reports and social media, there has been a speculation about Gypsy Rose Blanchard rebranding as a Christian podcaster. Get your boots on, please. The shit's going to get super deep while I tell this story. Get ready. Some trigger warning is going to happen here. Ready? Okay. That are engaging in religious themed content in 2026. However, the primary widely publicized podcast featuring her in a 2024 and 2025 focused on her life after prison, her past, and her relationships. Here are the key details regarding Gypsy Rose Blanchard's podcast appearances. Oh my God. Christian podcast rebrand. Reports indicate that by January 2026, Gypsy Rose Blanchard has been recontextualizing her public image, and with same sources referring to her as a Christian podcaster. The most dramatic podcast ever, 2025, Gypsy appeared on a two-part episode with Tori Spelling discussing her life after parole, motherhood, trauma, and redemption. Now, why Tori Spelling? Why Tori Spelling? Would nobody else talk to her? Because that seems to me like, who? when you want to have some mainstream person talking to you, Tori Spelling is not really a mainstream influencer or yeah, it doesn't make no sense. She's very controversial herself. Okay, then it's called the Bile Files. In January 24, she made her first major podcast appearance on the Bile Files with Nick Bile, where she discussed her relationship with her mother, her time in. Oh, let's go watch this. Let's go watch it. Hang on, guys. Let's see what the hell she lied to him about. Here we go. This will be fun. I didn't know about this one. Oh,
Yeah, she's on there with Ryan, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, let's see. Let's take a looky-see. I want to find anything I can about the church. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Is it this right here? I think it is this. Okay, this was from 1 year ago. Let's take a listen, guys. Let's take a look-see.
She was on there once with Ryan, and she was on there once with Kit. So it depends on which one you're gonna pull up. She was on.
Okay, because it's a 2-part series, and I don't know which one she would be on with. So let's just kind of skip through it for a minute, and we'll see if it's this part or the next part. Hang on, because it says Gypsy, you know. Okay, look, it's kind of got some. Oh, look, kids there.
Description of how our relationship ended. It made me just want to like set the record straight and let her know like what the real reasons were at the time. I mean, this is going back 5 years ago, and so that kind of like prompted me to reach out. But it was more just like, hey, I'm happy to see you out. I'm happy to see you smiling. I'm happy to see you thriving. Okay. I wish you the best. And that was like the initial point of contact.
I guess, can you bring us back up to speed in terms of what did Gypsy say about the ending of that relationship, and what did you feel wasn't accurate?
Okay.
She had just said that, like,
here's the real reason why he was not in her life anymore. Gypsy Rose Blanchard's relationship with Ken Urker began as pen pals, and then there was the mommy dearest and blah, blah, blah. They had correspondences. They visited while she was in jail. They had an engagement, supposedly, that while she was in prison, and the secret kept within her close family. The broken engagement. The engagement ended, leaving Gypsy heartbroken with Ken, later calling it off. But the reason why he calls it off is because he had started a new relationship with somebody else. But here's the key to that. Listen to this. She was already kind of in a relationship with Ryan. So what they're telling over here is not even true, but we'll keep listening.
Like, I had just left her because like the media attention was just too much, and like all the the fame behind it, like articles and whatnot, kind of scared me away, and that just wasn't accurate. That wasn't true. I thought that this air was clear at the time, but I realized that it wasn't. So I wanted to set it straight and let her know that, like, when we had separated 5 years ago, it was because a lot of people had been reaching out to me at the time, like big name people and just hundreds of regular people across social media, just like telling me that, like, you need to allow her to have this journey of self-discovery and not give her another form of codependency, having been through so much and never really living her life on her own, that, she should allow her this time to get through her sentence and just allow her to build this self-identity.
So full of it.
And that really, like,
y'all do realize in the state of Louisiana, now listen to this, you have to, in order to file for divorce in the state of Louisiana, you have to have lived there for 90 days, okay? So she moves there after she gets out of prison, and on day 91, she's running over there filing for divorce. Yes, here we go. Listen to this garbage.
Hit home with me, and I felt that to be true, so that was the reason why we had separated.
That makes sense.
How was that for you, Gypsy, to hear that was his reasoning instead of what you thought?
That was very emotional. He didn't tell it to me. I learned about this through Christy. So Christy had told this, everything to him, and then relayed that back to me in a FaceTime call. And immediately I started crying. Like, the emotions came up, and I felt like all that resentment that I was carrying for all those years, because obviously I was displaying that in the last time that I was here. So, to learn that everything that I had based my, opinions on of him was all not true. And so, it really touches your heart when you realize that that was a sacrifice that he made on.
A sacrifice? A sacrifice he made for her? Oh my God, really? No. Come on now. Y'all cut that shit out. Quit that lying. No. See, I mean, she only hooked up with Ryan because she needed somewhere to go. She did not want to move home with Christy and Rod, so she marries Ryan, so she has a place to go when she gets out on her parole. Period. She had no intention of staying married to him ever. She needs to quit that damn lying. It's so easy to see. But what's weird about it is when you listen to what Ryan Anderson has to say, he cannot even see the truth. If it was just at the end of his nose, he still cannot see the truth. It makes no sense to me. But we'll keep going here for a second. Let's get past this and we'll see what she has to say.
It was torn.
I imagine, obviously, since you've been out, I think I heard you say something like the internet is like hell, or
It is.
It is. No, it is.
It is.
And you'll get no argument from us. But obviously, and Nellie and I do our best to stay off the internet and not read things about us. It can be far more easier said than done. I imagine you guys try to stay off as well. But specifically, I guess Ken too. I mean, I'm sure you are aware of the criticisms when you got back. It's like, oh, of course he's coming back now. Things like that. How do you deal with that? And I guess what would you say to, I guess, any of the critics who, still have Gypsy in mind and worried about Gypsy and want to see her kind of figure herself out and say, Ken, this is too soon. What are you doing? Like, what would you say to that?
Well, the first part of that is, or the first part to your question is, as far as like the internet goes, like we do stay off of it too. Like for the most part, it's changed a lot over the last few months. I think in the beginning, I did want to go and like read comments a lot, and a part of me wanted to be defensive and think that I could just.
What's the next little bit
say,
about?
take your time. And I meant to. I really meant to take my time. But it was kind of like that urge to just want to do everything all at once. And so I think by having those experiences, it has kind of shaped me in a way that I have gained some maturity in certain aspects. For me, I try to stay focused on what I am going to be doing on a daily to make sure I don't get too ahead of myself with him. And, how did you feel in that? How was that?
Because I gotta say, my reaction,
awful, terrible. We'll never talk about it. We'll never show the video. It's so bad.
How was yours?
Oh God!
I was like getting ready for work. It was very shocking.
I can't watch these two. Let's see. Going deeper. Well, let's see what this one's about. Let's see.
I'm Katie Maloney, 37, divorcee, and I'm out here falling in love every day with myself.
And I'm Dana Keithan, 33.
What? Okay, let's go on. Why are you talking to her?
I
think I can remember a little bit
I've been
of
through
this.
So many interviews right now.
Feel like
She thinks she's
kinda.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's go
Has it
past
all been
this
pretty much?
Funniest thing is, here he is telling me, like, pour the milk. It's a half a cup of milk. I pour a cup and a half of milk.
Oh,
And
that's
he's like,
not
no, pour
even funny.
Watch and be like, well, that's not how that happened.
Mhm.
Like I can't imagine
Let's see.
having to
What's
watch
she
that
gonna
back
say?
of you. So I understand you not
Yeah.
watching that.
Yeah, she won't even watch my seasons of The Bachelor.
I get it.
That being
No,
said, have you
we
been?
can't watch this. I'm sorry, guys. We can't watch this because it's not funny and I can't stand her. Oh, the unseen videos. Let's watch a little bit of those. Oh, listen, this one's good too because she catches her line right there. Hang on, guys. Let's just take a looky-see. This is from 2 weeks ago. Gypsy Rose evidence videos. Gypsy as part 1 herself. Oh, here we go. Let's enjoy this one from Conspiracy. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. Let's have a little bit of fun. Yes.
My sweetie love, I just want to show you all the stuff I got for the baby.
So disgusting. We've seen this one, but look.
With essentials, of course, probably diapers for newborns.
Let's go to the next section.
Darling, just wanted to let you know I started my breast
Oh, God.
practice today. Yesterday. Sorry, I'm kidding.
So terrible.
So I taken my first dose yesterday, and
Oh, God, no, we gotta
put
go past
everything
this.
here, so
Let's see.
gotta make sure it's okay with them. Okay, darling. And but then she says that it doesn't matter if I'm 18 or if I'm 50, if I'm not
Okay,
mature
this is
enough
the real
to
reason why she,
handle
yeah. Sit like a lady, holy cow,
handle
is right.
the emotional and mental games that guys tend to play. If I'm mature enough, then yeah, I can have a boyfriend, or that's my choice. Is what she said.
You're almost 22 years
I'm
old.
like, well, I don't want a
Right
boyfriend
here.
now. I mean, there's nobody I like here in town, and if there was somebody I'd like, I am capable of telling you I like this person, but there's nobody here I like, so I don't need a boyfriend right now. And so
want to lick those lips some more,
fight
please.
that lasted like 4 days between us. And I just had to talk her into forgiving me and letting her know that, no, I'm going to listen to her rule. And, you know, and things got better after I said that. And I was just trying to let you know that she, as much as I wanted her to maybe help us out with things like living situation in the future, I don't think she will. And that was kind of depressing for me, because realizing that we have to do all this on our own, and you and I both don't make much money.
Do you hear what she just said? This is one of the main reasons why she took her mother's life. Because Dee Dee said, no, he can't move in here with us. No, I'm not going to help you buy a car. No, I'm not going to help you buy a house. No, I'm not going to help pay your living expenses. If you two decide to hook up, I've already said no. So listen to what she says.
Money, and like the money that I'm getting right now for us, for your trip, that is based on allowance. That's based on
Bullshit,
you know,
stole it.
checking under the couch for change. And I know you don't make much on your check. And so, I mean, what I want to do is save enough so we could at least have us a nest egg of something we can fall back on. Like, we need a car.
She had a nest egg. She had her mother's $5,000 nest egg. Yeah, here we go.
We need a house. We need money. And money doesn't grow on trees. Maybe it does because it's cotton, but anyway.
Oh my God.
We don't have a lot. And we need to start saving now. If we're going to have to do this alone without anyone's help, we're going to need money. And, but I know that if we work together, we can get that money.
Yeah, if we work together, plan a murder, kill my mother, steal the $5,000, we can get that money. And if we get away with it, we're going to come back here. We're going to live in the house that was given to me by Habitat of Humanity. You know, humanity, the Habitat people. Give me this house back, and we'll just continue to live here for free, like nothing ever happened. That is her mindset right there. What she failed to think about was grown-ups, people who live in the grown-up world, can actually know that they have to go to school, they have to get educated, they have to get jobs, and that they plan for their future. They don't do this. They don't kill people to plan for their future. I want to read y'all something I found. I found this earlier, and I forgot to tell you about this. This was something I found on, it's called Blast. Gypsy Rose Blanchard claims X found murder fantasies. Like Nick John just found Nick John found murder fantasies just so arousing. Okay, again, this oversexed piece of shit blaming everything on Nick, saying that he had the fantasies, right? He had all the fantasies. So here we go. In her memoir, Gypsy Rose Blanchard opens up about the relationship with Nicholas Godejohn, who was serving a life sentence for his involvement in the murder of her mother, Claudine Dee Dee Blanchard. Dee Dee, of course, was found in June of 2015 at the age of 48, and she had suffered multiple stab wounds. Now, there's questionable things about the stab wounds, because some places it says 14, some places it says 17. Why is there a discrepancy? That doesn't make any sense, but it's out there. So then Gypsy pled guilty to second-degree murder and received a 10-year prison sentence, while Godejohn, now 35, was convicted on first-degree murder and sentenced to life. But here's where it goes. Gypsy Rose Blanchard, now 33, recounted meeting Nicholas Godejohn on a Christian dating website. So what kind of Christian is she? See, this is why she can't lead a Christian church group, because she goes in there and she finds people to help her kill other people. So that's not really a healthy, church group to get involved in. So maybe some of the churches told her no, and that's why they're on the list now. But she goes, I think that's right. I think that sounds right? So this was in 2012, and they had a quick connection that quickly escalated to an explicit relationship. Okay? Not long after connecting with Nicholas Godejohn online, Gypsy Rose began creating sexually explicit videos at his request. Really? Because that's not the way we saw it in the videos that we saw. Nick exposed me to a lot of sexually perverse things and ideas, but 10 years later, knowing now what I know about sex, he taught me all wrong, she wrote in her memoir. Are you kidding me, Gypsy? You're the one that started all of it. Mm. God dang. From what I have read, he didn't have an accurate idea of BDSM. Bondage just, well, you did. You're the one that told him about it. You're the one that talked him to it. Oh, God. And he made it up as we went along. Oh, no, you made it up as you went along, right? The ex-con, the ex-con, that's exactly what she is, an ex-con. She is a murderer, even though she does not see herself as a
Identify
murderer.
as a murderer. Doesn't
Yes, right.
identify as a murderer.
Yeah, that's right. But she is one. But they're calling her the ex-con right here in this, which is good. I'm glad to see somebody tell it like it is. The ex-con then claimed that the more he praised me for a good job after sucking, okay, trigger warning, trigger warning. I'm glad it's all adults here. What time is it? Okay, 9:31 at night. Okay. Careful. The ex-con then claimed the more he praised me for a good job after sucking on a dildo he had ordered from Japan. No, he didn't order shit from Japan. Gypsy, you ordered it. Let's get that straight. The more I believed he loved me. Of course, when doing these videos, when I would do the videos wrong, like forgetting to call him master or not being a dirty enough girl, he would threaten to pull that love away. Oh, bullshit. We saw you tell him that you would take away the one thing he wanted. Gypsy. Ruby told Master that she would take away Gypsy. All right. Nicholas Godejohn described an elaborate fantasy world to Gypsy Rose Blanchard, claiming he lived amongst 12 alien soulmates of different species. Come on, Gypsy. You were not that damn stupid, okay? The Image universe also featured a villain named Victor, a 3,000-year-old vampire with a thirst for rape and murder. Gypsy alleged that Godejohn had harbored an interest in necrophilia and even shared a disturbing fantasy about murdering and then raping his ex-girlfriend. Hold on. Put your boots back on again, because we know that is not true, right? He told, we know he's not lying because he told the detective, no, he had no interest in that. He don't even know where that came from. Additionally, she claimed that Godejohn made bizarre demands, such as asking her to slather her breasts with peanut butter or barbecue sauce and act out unusual sexual behaviors with phallic objects. Oh, the toothbrush. Now I get it. The toothbrush. There you go. Gypsy wanted to get rid of her mom. This is just a picture that was there. So Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Nicholas Godejohn initially maintained a long-distance relationship, but after meeting in person, they began discussing the possibility of Gypsy moving to Wisconsin to live with him. It was around this time the idea of killing Dee Dee started to surface in their conversations. We felt like our relationship was on the brink of collapse. This is Gypsy recalling it. We believed that we tried everything to be together, and now it's just a matter of taking extreme measures. That is a lie. See, I mean, I wish these people would come back and say, hey, we realize that Gypsy Rose Blanchard lied to us, and the story we wrote is not really true. Okay? But they're not going to do that. But she clarified it wasn't one discussion like, okay, how do we get rid of your mom? There were just gradual conversations that were baked into an elaborate fantasy world Nick created. He shared with me that he got sexually aroused when he fantasized about murdering and then raping his ex-girlfriend. But our plot was more reminiscent of a soap opera. Well, the whole thing was like a soap opera, Gypsy Rose Blanchard. It was like two children playing a grown-up game. It was like a soap opera, let's be honest. Gypsy recounted her memoir, and then I made the suggestion of murder, to which Nick said, Victor can do that, but you need to be the one to beg him, referencing the 3,000-year-old vampire villain from Godejohn's elaborate fantasy world. Well, if she knew it was a fantasy world, then she knew it wasn't true. Isn't that correct? They eventually agreed on a contract in which Godejohn, acting as his alter ego, Victor, would kill Dee Dee and then rape Gypsy. Gypsy, you were never raped. Stop claiming that. Just stop claiming that. What was in Nick's brain? Oh, I don't know for sure, but it felt like I was being used to help him live out this fantasy as if he was playing around with, characters that he created in his mind or in a video game, Gypsy wrote. Listen to this trash. And some of them were like evil killers, and maybe it might be fun for him to play around with that darker side of life. We were just using each other. Yes, you were, but you enjoyed every minute of it. Quit your lying. Gypsy pled guilty to the second-degree murder. During the trial, Gypsy's case drew significant public attention and sympathy as the details of her abuse emerged. My time to stand is now, oh my God, my time to throw up. Every time I hear about her book, I want to vomit, you know. But can you believe that they put that? Oh God. This was from Yahoo Entertainment and it's called The Blast. So we know it's full of lies and you don't want to read it, okay? Some more lies by Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Now, there was hang on a second. Let me find this one thing. It was about Gypsy Rose Blanchard and plagiarism, which is kind of like where my the title of my little show is about. Because if you weren't here, the first thing we discussed is using Chat GPT. Is that plagiarism? Because it's not your words, you're repeating somebody else's words, right? So is it or is it not? I don't know. What do y'all think? Tell me what you think about that. Okay. You spell plagiarism right here. Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Let's see. Let's see if I can find anything about this. Here's what the online discourse suggests. And this is about the plagiarism claim. Okay, so she's been formally accused of or proven to have plagiarized content in the traditional sense. So see, they're not saying in the traditional sense did she do it, but there is talk about this. So some viewers find her lack of typical influencer polish and her raw, sometimes awkward attempts at content creation, like asking about GRWM videos. I don't know what that is. What's a GRWM video? A contrast to polished stars, yet others find it authentic, while some question if it's a curated persona. There you go. Inspiration versus plagiarism. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. It says using ChatGPT can be considered plagiarism if you present its output as your own original work.
Then she
especially
absolutely
in academic or professional settings because you're not giving credit to AI.
There you go. So she absolutely does participate in plagiarism.
Copy and pasting, submitting text generated by ChatGPT directly into an assignment without significant changes or citation is plagiarism.
So she is using plagiarism because she can't write a sentence without it. She doesn't have, she doesn't have the ability. Her early "Get Ready with Me," I guess that's what the GRWM was. "Get Ready with Me" videos were compared to TikTok Alex Earl style, leading to accusations of copying, though it's more about adopting popular formats than stealing original material. Focus on her story. Most discussion centers on her unique story, her time in prison, and her rapid rise in online fame rather than direct theft or intellectual property. Hold on though. In essence, accusations, listen, she's mimicking trending styles rather than outright plagiarism. But that's not true because we know she uses ChatGPT for everything she writes, everything she puts out is strictly from ChatGPT. So the author, this is what I was looking at a while ago. Okay, let me come back to this. There is a book that's called Be Your Own Rock. Okay. Now the person that wrote this book is seen with Gypsy Rose a lot. So Be Your Own Rock, the proven way to strengthen your mind and build the power to overcome anything by Sagar, Constantine. I think it's Sagar Constantine. So even that talks about even the colors of the front of the book were copied from somebody else's. She chose to laugh when I asked if she was affiliated with GypShit. No excuses. I use the word GypShit anyway. Well, Sagar has an Instagram, so I copied Kel Rocky's Instagram account and commented on one of Sagar's posts to let her know about the plagiarism. Really? Can't wait for Kel's next one that she copies from Sagar. So they're saying that somebody is copying this other person. Also commented on Bent Page's Instagram's post about her book and tagged Sagar about Raquel's plagiarizing of her work. The author of Kel Rocky that supports the pedophile Gypsy Rose. The pedophile supporting author? Wow, I was unaware of this as well. I've been a member of this Reddit page for a year now, but today I'm learning so much new info. So this is over here on the Reddit, it's a GRB Snark page. which is kind of interesting. There's a lot of things about this author, that book, and all these other things about plagiarism, which is kind of pretty interesting. You should really, if you haven't looked at it, please go over there and look at it. It's kind of interesting. So we're not going to stay on for very long. I just wanted to talk about a few of these things today, and just kind of, reach out talk about plagiarism. Is she plagiarizing? Yes, she absolutely is. We know that now. We know what the true meaning is, and we know that this is what GypShit does. We'll let this play for just a little bit more so we can just make a little more fun. Here we go.
And as long as we work as a team, yeah, we can make it. And I'm hopeful that we can make it. We have the love, but we just need that stability. I'm moving on to basically why I said what I said. I said what I said because I was depressed. I didn't mean it. I'm
surprised she's not wearing her wedding dress right here.
I've always felt like you deserve so much better because you're so amazing, and I'm blessed to have you. I really, really am. But there are these times that I feel like I am not worthy of you, and I don't know how to explain to you.
I'm not worthy of you, Master. I'm just a lying, cheating piece of shit. Oh my God. Why? I'm sorry. I'll just beg for forgiveness. She makes me so sick with this goddamn bullshit. I'm getting ugly. I'm sorry. I feel myself just getting irritated and mad and everything else. Looking at this gross ass face, listening to her make that baby voice and talk about, we can make it. We have love. Now listen. And here's another thing that makes me so angry, and you know this about me, Sprinkle. You've heard me talk about this a lot. She makes me so angry because she knew there was no way in hell he would ever be able to have a stable job and do anything for her financially. She knew it. No. She could see it. She had watched it for 3 years, and I really do believe 100%. That taking her mother out was a result of her mother being sick, and the fact that her mother would not allow him to just move in there with her and her mother and just live off of them. I do believe that 100%. You cannot change my mind about that.
No,
she tells herself all the time.
She did not want to be a caregiver for her mom.
Her mother was really sick. When you talk about and you hear all these things that have now come out through the things over here on YouTube from In the Weeds, I mean, there's just so much information. Hang on a second, guys. Let me see. I thought I saw In the Weeds drop something. Hang on. I say we're not going to stay along, but I want to check out this one last thing. Hang on. Let's see. This was, let me go to there. Recently uploaded. Here we go. Hang on just a second. This was 3 days ago. She is copyright crazy right now. This is 5 days ago on her Bizarre Ryan Anderson. Okay, hang on. This was 5 days ago. Gypsy, Blanchard, and Nicholas go to John commit. Oh, let's watch this for just a second. This is from 5 days ago, and this is from LEB.
Okay, guys. So the
real
story of Gypsy Rose.
I liked her.
Yeah, I do
We
too.
wrestle with whether to show images of Didi's body. They're disturbing, and they should be. But without them, it's far too easy for the sheer brutality of what happened to be diluted by Gypsy's ever-changing stories and self-serving rewrites. These are not here for shock value. They're here because the truth matters. And in this case, the truth is written in Didi's wounds. Sanitizing what happened only helps the person still spinning the narrative. Didi deserves for people to see the reality of her unaliving, not the watered-down version Gypsy has been selling for years.
I'm going to take the dots off. I'm pretty sure she won't
The
mind.
content on this page contains some graphic images and descriptions of
graphic
extreme violence,
images,
which
folks.
some adults may find distressing. This material is not suitable for children, and reader discretion is strongly advised. I actually may not show the crime scene photos just because I might get in some sort of trouble with TikTok. So I might not show them,
I don't know.
but I will link
LEBs.
them
It's LEBs,
on my pages for anybody that wants to see them.
Okay,
They are
here we go.
brutal. I have seen them. Let me make sure they're not anywhere down here. I've seen them, and they're brutal. They are.
Yeah.
Like,
Anymore
Didi was nearly
transfers of
decapitated.
users of
Let's
someone's
just say that.
copyrighted
You
work
don't
is
know. Didi was
criminal
literally
infringement
nearly
according to the Copyright Act.
In 2017, Dr.
use
Bill
of
asked
another's
Gypsy, "Tell me in
copyrighted
your own
work
words what
can
happened that night."
initiate a
She answered, "My mother
confrontation.
and I had
Yes,
gotten into an
plagiarism.
argument 2 days
Thank
before.
you, Elizabeth.
It was
and
about my
thank you
feeding
for
tube.
letting
I
us
no
know.
longer
See,
need this feeding tube.
Elizabeth is
Can
so
we please
smart.
have her
I love
removed?"
her to
And
come
she
in.
said no, which that's not true. We have proven that that's not true either, because there's
right.
a message to Nicholas from Gypsy where she went to the ER the day before, or maybe 2 days before.
Why?
She went to the ER and she got her feeding tube changed. And she said, Nick was like, hey, all good with the feeding tube. Just went to the ER and got it changed. So I'm good for a year unless it gets infected. And at that point, I can change it out myself. And she got extra feeding tube supplies. So if she was arguing with her mother about wanting to have her feeding tube removed, then why
Oh,
did
wait
she
a minute.
pack extra?
That's not what she was arguing with her mother about. That has nothing to do with it. If y'all remember, I found those text messages where they were talking about going to this in June to in New York to a what is it called? It was a special damn it, I can't remember what. Okay, anyway, that was happening in June, and they were collecting money for this trip. And one of the perks of going on this trip was she was going to see this special doctor while she was at this conference. It was a conference. And so while she was at this conference, she was going to see the special doctor. Gypsy knew that if she went to see this special doctor, he would have known she's been lying about it the whole time. She did not want to go to the conference. It was in June. She has her mother killed in June. They can't go to the conference. That is why they picked June. I'm sorry, I had to tell y'all about this. I did a little video about it, but it's been a while back, so.
Supplies and told Nicholas that she could change it herself if need be. So that's not, something's not right there. On Monday, June 8th, 2015, 2 days before Dee Dee's unaliving, Gypsy was messaging Nicholas Godejohn, right? Yeah. 3:04 p.m. Darling, I'm going to the ER to get my tube changed. I'll be off my phone for a few hours. 9:26, darling, I'm home. 9:27, it was a 6-hour wait in the ER. 9:30, at least it's done, so we're good for a week. 9:30, it can be done even by me, but I want unless I have.
Thank you for telling me that.
This is not the language of someone desperate to get rid of the feeding tube. It's the language of someone who just ticked a yearly chore off the list and moved on. Exactly. Gypsy continued her story to Dr. Phil. And I had an upcoming surgery that I didn't want to have.
It was no
surgery. I've had it 20
surgery.
times before. Why do I have to have it again? What surgery had she had 20 times before? According to Dee Dee, or according to her, Dee Dee told her there was nothing she could do because the doctor wants it. The problem is there's no record of any schedule.
See, there was no surgery planned. It was the conference they were going to. And she'd been to 20 of these before. So that is what she's talking about right there. Elizabeth, I wanted to ask you this. I know we've talked about this once before, and I believe that Elizabeth told me that she is are you a psychology? You have a doctorate in psychology from UCLA, or is that what you told me, Elizabeth, or did you attend UCLA? I can't remember which one it was, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love having you in our chat because you're so smart. I know this is a long time ago when I was reading that book. Yeah, she is very smart. She's so witty too. I love it when she comes in and tells us things. Anyway, we'll keep listening. But listen, that is what she's talking about. It was 20 times before. This particular conference that they went to over and over. So.
Surgery in 2015. No pre-op assessments, no upcoming procedures, nothing.
Right.
In her memoir, Gypsy never wanted to miss an opportunity for melodrama, referred to this so-called upcoming surgery to address her squeaky voice as my mother tried to cut my throat. Reality, on April 11, 2009, Gypsy had a 5-minute laryngoscopy, I'm probably saying that wrong, under mild anesthesia for a mild vocal cord weakness. That is it. One procedure not and certainly not upcoming in June 2015. The morning Nick was due to board his Greyhound bus to Springfield, a journey he believed was to save Gypsy from imminent danger. She messaged him, 4:11 a.m. I was made to sleep on the front porch with bugs. 4:12, I peed in the bushes. It's been rough. Dee Dee Blanchard, a woman with a mowed lawn and a fierce grip on appearances, supposedly just rolled her adult daughter on the front porch for the neighborhood to gawk at. For context, just over a week earlier, Gypsy had told Nick in a casual chat, by the way, I'm afraid of bugs, just so you know. Nick assured her. She said, I'm just letting you know my phobia is bugs and spiders. Nick then admits his own fear. Your freakouts.
I don't know.
And that's when Gypsy, Nick had an issue with her freakouts. And there's videos out there about that where he's like, oh, I'm going to spank you if you act like that. If you act like that, I'll spank you. In public, in front of people. Knowing what we do now, Gypsy's last-minute bugs messages reads like strategy, a calculated push to quash any doubts in Nick's mind and increase the urgency of her so-called rescue. In a word, y'all, the night before, she's like, my mom made me sleep outside. I had to pee in the bushes.
And then talks about the bugs, right?
A supplementary police report following Nick's interview notes. Gypsy had been kicked out of her mother's home, and he was worried sick about her.
More lies.
Because she was wandering the streets. Nick told detectives that a homeless Gypsy must have found a free Wi-Fi spot because she was still replying to him. No credible evidence supports the eviction claim.
See how innocently stupid Nicholas was? I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. Just innocently stupid. He thinks she's outside, maybe in a homeless camp, whatever, but she has found internet, right? He's just that. He can't help that he's
just that unintelligent. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to use any negative words because he can't help that he had autism and that he actually was more like a 15-year-old. It just goes to show, this just proves exactly, the manipulation by her.
If Dee Dee had finally run out of patience with the volatile, deceitful 23-year-old in her care,
23 years old.
Hard to blame her. It would be hard to blame
Art
her.
history. Okay,
and here's the part
UCLA.
Gypsy left
Yes,
out
thank
of her
you. I
damsel
knew
in
you said
distress
UCLA,
routine.
but
she had access to
Art
cash.
history
She
and
had a
accounting.
free bus pass to the Greyhound station. She had 2 fully functioning legs. She could have left. She could have asked for help.
She could have walked out
Instead,
anytime.
she stayed, allegedly peeing in the bushes,
Mm-hmm.
waiting for the man she had spent months manipulating. A man with clear cognitive impairments who believed he was protecting the woman he loved to arrive and unalive her mother. In 2024, Gypsy claims the decision to unalive Dee Dee was made in May 2015, allegedly because Dee Dee was about to force her into a surgery on her larynx to fix her squeaky voice. Probably should have went through with that one. Even the most ardent Gypsy apologist, who surely knows she's always claimed the murder plot began after her March 2015 cinema outing with Nicholas Godejohn, which is itself untrue, are going to have trouble swallowing this latest rewrite. Let's be clear. This isn't just a faulty memory. It's a wholesome rebranding of the original story, served up nearly a decade later.
She's just trying to make it look
As if that weren't enough, Gypsy's book also includes a letter she allegedly wrote to Dee Dee in 2018 from prison, lifted straight from her cloying self-mythologizing volume, Conversations on the Eve of Freedom, or as the rest of us might like to call it, Melissa Moore sniffing around for a paycheck.
Yeah, right.
On Monday, June 8, 2015, Nicholas Godejohn left his home in Big Bend, Wisconsin to catch a Greyhound bus to Springfield. His stepfather, Charles Godehammer, later said Nick hadn't told him about his trip in advances. Instead, he left a note on his bed saying he was going to collect Gypsy. News of Gypsy's imminent rescue came as a complete surprise to Nick's mother and stepfather. Nick's bus departed Wisconsin around 3:30 p.m. While he waited to board, Gypsy sent him a message, 1:45 p.m., making up a song on the road to death.
See, his parents had no idea that he was going to go pick her up and bring her to their house to live there. This is how, and that's exactly what a 15-year-old child would do. Hey, come over and stay with me. Did you ask your parents? No, it's okay. Without really thinking that, no, it's not okay. You really do need to ask your parents because, that's how kids think. But she over here, well, see, the thing is, she never intended to stay at his house. That's why they only had one bus ticket. She really thought she was running back over to Dan Gladwell. Really, I believe that too. You can't change my mind on that. 100%, I believe that. So, okay, Sprinkled Donut, remember I was asking Elizabeth about UCLA? Her actual degree is in, art history and accounting from UCLA in 2015. Whoop, whoop. There you go.
Very smart.
She is. I love it. I love it when she comes. Anyway, we'll keep listening.
La 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 la. Something else was Gypsy's birthday. Dee Dee had actually paid to have a song written about Gypsy for her birthday.
Isn't that sweet?
That's also in all the files that's been released. The trip wasn't funded by Nick's savings. There weren't any. As usual, Gypsy had stolen money from Dee Dee and mailed it to him to pay for his bus fare and hotel stay. Nick purchased his return ticket in advance and kept the rest for expenses. Dee Dee unknowingly had just financed her own unaliving.
Isn't that terrible?
And Mommy, Dad, and Dearest, Gypsy later claimed, I managed to scrape up enough money to pay for him a ticket. No, she did what she always did when she needed money. She took it from the very woman she was plotting to have unalive. Nick and Gypsy messaged almost constantly during his trip. He arrived in Springfield on Tuesday, June 9th at 5:36 p.m. That evening, he got a Facebook message from a friend he called Sis. She asked how he was, and Nick said he was okay and on his way to get Gypsy. Nick jumped between chatting with Sis and messaging Gypsy, sometimes speaking to Gypsy in the third person as Victor while speaking to Sis as himself. 8:46 p.m.
How
Sis,
weird.
Are you home now? Before answering, Nick asked Gypsy if Dee Dee's bedroom floor squeaked. Victor wanted to know. She replied that the room was carpeted, then added 8:51 p.m. My private parts are shaved. At 8:52 p.m., Nick asked Victor, said he was excited about what he was going to do on Live Dee Dee.
Okay, wait a minute.
If she had shaved.
Okay, listen to this. She's telling him right here, my private parts are shaved. But then she told them, oh, well, then he asked me, I went into the bathroom and then, I was shaving my private parts because that's what he wanted me to do. When did she shave them, bitch? When did you shave them? 2 days before, the day of, 5 minutes after, while he was doing the deed? When did you shave them? Lying piece of shit. Here we go.
Elsewhere as well. At 8:53 p.m., Nick told Sis things weren't cool with Dee Dee, claiming mother and daughter argued daily. He said Gypsy was packing. Sis asked how Gypsy planned to leave the house. She appeared to believe Gypsy was running away with Nick, not that an unliving scheme was imminent. At 8:54 p.m., Gypsy told Nick she'd shave her legs after he would arrive. At 8:55, Nick told Gypsy not to be afraid when she heard Victor speak. His voice sounded evil. I don't know about all that. It sounds weird, but at 8:56 p.m., Nick told Sis that Gypsy would either walk or sneak out. Gypsy told Nick she was going to get something to eat. Nick told Sis he was prepared to get involved if the plan went wrong. The conversation with Sis fizzled, and Nick and Gypsy moved back.
Hang on a minute, y'all. Nick's prepared to get involved if something went wrong. Okay, how in this shows extremely psychopathic, sociopathic, whatever you want to call it. Because he is talking as if he is another person. I mean, just right there. Oh my God, he has Nick is very sick. I'm telling you, I'm thinking Nick is very disturbed, demented. I mean, she is too, but I think Nick really did show her who he really was. We'll keep going. This is good.
Into their own private planning, a mixture of unaliving logistics and sexual role play involving their alter egos, Victor and Ruby. Part of the plan was for Victor to R Ruby after Dee Dee's death. Gypsy would later recast this as an actual R, but at the time, her messages show no fear or reluctance. She was preparing for her role. 12 minutes before Nick called a taxi to Dee Dee's house, Gypsy messaged him, 1:29 a.m. Will he, Victor, allow me to wet your penis before he takes me, hon? I don't know if he's going to do back door or front door, but I was hoping he would come into the back door. Dr. Phil later confronted Gypsy about the message. At any point, did you think this is beyond strange? You're talking to a guy who's talking about himself in the third person, Janelle Evans. Yeah. Saying he's a 500-year-old vampire, and he's glad your mother's a light sleeper, so she'll be awake when he hacks her to death. Gypsy's response, to be honest, I didn't even think it was real. I became numb to the idea. Like, oh, okay, we're just having another conversation about it.
Liar.
Except she wasn't just having a conversation. On May 29th, 2015, at 9:44 p.m., Gypsy messaged Nick, darling, can you please meet me online? We need to talk about our plan. So we're jumping back to before all this took place, okay? That's not idle chatter. That's initiating planning. Shaving her genitals while her chosen killer rode a Greyhound toward her, ticket paid for with stolen money. That's not null. That's preparation. And Googling how to remove the smell of a deceased body on June 7th, 2015. That's not
I'm going to go back to her, but I need to work on Gypsy
standing on the edge of the cliff, ready to push. But before we go forward, we need to briefly rewind. Saturday, June 6, 2015, just 4 days before Dee Dee's unaliving. At 2:57 p.m., Gypsy sent Nick this little gem. Honey, I was wondering. Say I wanted to have sex with a guy before leaving town. But just a casual, hey, while you're on your way to unalive my mother, mind if I squeeze in a quick fling? She followed with a flurry. It's just a curious question because adding LOL makes it cute, apparently. Okay, so I know you're territorial, but I'm being tempted sexually. Darling, can we talk online, please? I'm guessing you're napping. I thought you wasn't getting my text on.
How is she being tempted sexually? How? You tell me. So she's over there having conversations with Dan Gladwell, texting Dan while she's texting Victor as Ruby, and she's texting Dan as Gypsy. Is that what's going on over here?
Probably, yeah.
It's crazy.
Sure.
It's crazy wild, isn't it? Oh my God. Jesus.
At 4:49, Nick finally says,
unbelievable.
I was, and I didn't hear them, though, dear, since my phone was on vibrate. By 5:47 p.m., Gypsy drops this into Nick's lap. He agreed to meet up. We're going to get coffee at this cupcake place Thursday, so that will close that. Translation, booked and confirmed, sweetheart. Don't worry. Just the day after my mother is DEAD.
What?
I think she's saying...
Wait. She's going to go meet
this guy. Because I think she's saying, like, the guy that she wanted to hook up with has agreed to meet her.
Okay. The guy that she wants to meet up with has agreed to meet her, but this is the day after he's unalived her mother? Is that what I'm reading?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's what you're reading.
That tells you right there she had no plan on getting on that bus and going back with him to his home. None. I think That's what it seems like. She's telling him right there that she's not going to go. Jeez.
5:48 p.m. It's a public place, so all good, hon. Nick, still operating in his alter, manipulated reality. Dear, I told I'll be around in the area of it to make sure he didn't do anything, and you have to accept that. Okay, darling. What time does our bus leave Thursday, hon? Nick, 6:13 p.m., dear. For context, Gypsy hadn't texted Nick since 9:56 p.m. the night before. Then, after he responded at 4:49 p.m., there's an hour-long gap before she comes back announcing her date with benefits plans, conveniently scheduled for the day after her mom's unaliving. It's fair to suggest she and Cupcake Man have been chatting up a storm that day. A 2025 FOIA obtained court records seen below strongly suggest the man was none other than Dan Gladwell. Interesting.
Ding, 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 ding.
Why
Hey,
was
give
Nick
a
so
hand.
oddly fine with this? His only concern was making sure she was safe. Not the small matter that this was another man she planned to sleep with right after her mother's unaliving. And where exactly were they planning to get it on? Back at the hotel while Nick sat in the lobby? Dan
back
claims
at
he
her
turned
mother's house?
Gypsy down.
I mean-
Did he, though? Nick's seat on the Greyhound back to Wisconsin was booked in advance. Gypsy's wasn't. Why? That's interesting.
It's very interesting.
So, Nick already had his ticket back to Wisconsin, but she did not have Nick buy her one when she sent the money. And she was planning to bump uglies with someone the day after her mom. So,
that's funny.
Interesting.
Bump
A rational
uglies.
escape plan following a unaliving would start with securing your means of flight, unless, of course, rational isn't really part of the equation. In her alter ego Ruby video, Gypsy told Nick she was very good at planning things. Apparently, booking your own bus ticket wasn't one of those things. So why wasn't her escape ticket secured? When Gypsy asked Nick, what time does our bus go back? She was referring to the bus she didn't even have a seat on. This timing, coupled with her early arrangement to meet Dan, makes for an interesting overlap. Was Gypsy entertaining the
Wait a
idea of a
minute.
double cross? It's not that implausible. Nick.
Yeah, remember this? Dan Gladwell was actually living in Arkansas. Okay, so she had planned on going to Arkansas. She's going to meet. She was going to go to Arkansas and meet Dan after she sent Nick back to Wisconsin. But then Nick wasn't leaving without her. See that? I think at that point she was forced to change the plan while they're at the hotel. I didn't mean to point my finger at y'all guys. I'm just reading for a minute. I was like, oh wow, that makes total sense now. Now I get
Unalives
it.
Dee Dee. Gypsy vanishes
Yeah,
with Dan,
yeah.
perhaps to Arkansas. Nick is left holding the bag, assumed to have unalived Dee Dee and the missing Gypsy. In that scenario, Gypsy is finally free from Dee Dee's control, flush with her mother's savings, and confident Nick, whose misguided motive was to rescue her, would never betray her. Dee Dee's gone, Gypsy safe, Nick takes the fall. That's not what happened, of course. But as the saying goes, the best laid plans of mice and men often go awry. Once Nick arrived in Springfield, there was another flurry of texts. Nick mentioned being low on funds and unsure if he could cover another night at the hotel. Low on funds meant he still had just under $200, more than enough for another night. The first night cost $140, including the $50 deposit, and the $10 taxi to Dee Dee's house. Instead of simply reassuring him, Gypsy used the opportunity to advance the unaliving timeline. 6:55 a.m. Unless you want to do it tonight, like the late part of the night.
See, they changed.
Question mark? It would have to be. It's the only way to get you money and everything go like we planned. By 7 a.m., she decided, tonight, hun. 3 minutes later, I will text you, we are doing this tonight, hun. It won't be until later, like in the a.m. So get your rest, darling. As with the cupcake date text, a tentative could-I rapidly hardened into a definite, we are doing this tonight. So what was the rush? Maybe Gypsy was simply anxious to get it over with. Though her tone hours later didn't exactly radiate fear or urgency. 7:31 a.m. The shit's going to go down tonight, Ruby said. Or maybe the timeline shifted for someone else's convenience.
I'll get you back.
Maybe. By 5:36 a.m. on Thursday, June 9th, Nick was in Springfield. I'm in Springfield, baby.
But
Gypsy's
wait a
reply
minute.
at 6:19. Yeah.
There was a conversation, and I know y'all are going to remember this when I bring this up, where he said that she came to the hotel and she already had some bags packed or whatever before they went to Dee Dee's house. So how did that happen? Where's this missing part? There you go. Glad to see you come back, Sprinkled. There's something missing here.
Yeah,
in
I
this
don't know what
part of the
happened.
Story.
He had kicked me out.
Okay. Did you hear what I was saying, Sprinkled, about? Remember when he says in his interview about she showed up at the hotel with some bags already packed before he went to the house to do the deed. Remember that? I mean, it was like this was in his interview. So why is this not talked about over here? There's part of it's missing here.
Day was brimming with enthusiasm. Dee Dee had less than 24 hours to live. Nick and Gypsy still had time to change their minds. Instead, Gypsy messaged Nick from the hotel, reinforcing his role as her hero and her everything. For motivation's sake, bring your A game on. This is life with me on the line. I just want to say this. Thank you. You're my hero, and I will never leave you. I'm staying with you for eternity. You're the most important person to me, sweetie.
Sure.
You're like me. Fight for what you want and need. No matter what, I'm yours forevermore. I love, adore, and worship you, my everything.
But I'm throwing you under the bus as soon as we get to the jail.
Life, she seemed remarkably adept at keeping her co-conspirator emotionally locked in. Warning, the content on this page contains some graphic images and descriptions of extreme violence, which some adults may find distressing. This material is not suitable for children. If you're here, you guys all know this. On Monday, June 8, 2015, at 3:04 p.m., Gypsy texted Nick that she was heading to the ER to have her infected feeding tube replaced. So we're jumping back.
She already read this part.
Later, at 9:27 p.m., she reported they spent 6 hours there. 6 hours? What?
Wait a minute. Did it just start looping over? Is that what happened? No, look. So it's okay, because she already read that part. Hang on a second. Go back over here for a minute. Let's see.
At 9:08
she already read that part.
She told Nick she was painting her nails, though failed to mention Dee Dee's. Both appeared freshly painted pink in crime photos, with a bottle of polish visible on Dee Dee's bedside table. When Nick asked about red polish, Gypsy claimed she had none, despite an unopened pack containing it being in plain sight. Gypsy added that they had recently argued, made up, and she promised to be a good girl. Dee Dee reportedly told her she felt more relaxed and then chillingly said, "Don't hurt me." The phrase "good girl," one Gypsy used often, was part of Gypsy's well-known childlike persona and was grotesquely out of place for a grown.
What do you mean she was feeling relaxed? Don't hurt me. See how that makes no sense either? That's weird.
Yeah.
She's feeling really relaxed and she says, "And don't hurt me." What do you mean, don't hurt me? That is crazy. Okay.
A woman plotting her mother's death. No crap. During a review of the FOIA files on InstaWeek's podcast, an observant viewer noted the bathroom medicine cabinet bore only a latch, with loose halves and screws laying nearby, as if the lock was about to be installed. A receipt and a padlock sat on a nearby table. Dee Dee had reported a burglary in April 2015, saying $1,000 in prescriptions were stolen. And again on June 5th, she told an acquaintance she had been robbed of savings for Gypsy's camp. Dee Dee's meticulous tracking of cash hints she suspected the thief wasn't breaking in from the outside. The threat was already under her roof.
See,
her searches on the internet.
She already suspected that her own child was stealing from her and that she was going to put a lock on that cabinet and that was going to be a key lock that she was going to put on that cabinet. She had already purchased it. She already realized that GypShit was over there committing crimes against her own mother. I know she was. I bet she was afraid of GypShit. 100% that she was. Wow.
Of course she was.
Yeah. Dee Dee's meticulous tracking of cash. Hence, she suspected that it wasn't breaking. Okay. She already. Wow. All right, here we go. I found this interesting because I had not heard that before.
And now that's new. I've heard this before, that the medicine cabinet did not have the lock on it. It was in the process of getting installed. So that says a lot.
It does say a lot.
At 1:08 a.m., Gypsy texts Nick. It's getting close to time. She took her sleep aid pill. At 1:09, she warned, "Once you're inside the house, we stay silent until I open the bathroom door."
I mean, this part right here.
Memoir, she claims to have answered the door to Nick in her noisy electric wheelchair to avoid waking Dee Dee.
She lied.
The same Dee Dee she just said was asleep from a sleep aid she had taken. The autopsy confirmed Dee Dee had no such. The autopsy confirmed Dee Dee had no such medication in her system.
Oh,
so
wow.
Gypsy lied again. That's interesting. You would think she would encourage her, "Hey mom, take your sleep medicine. Let's sleep good tonight."
Okay.
At 1:36 a.m., Gypsy texts Nick. "It's go time. Are you ready?" Dr. Mark Philman, who.
Now think about this. She told him, she took her sleeping pills, blah, blah. But she really didn't take them because the autopsy says so. So she is in there asleep. Think about this. She's in there asleep, laying on her stomach. Some guy jumps on her back and starts attacking her with a damn knife, stabbing her. And I'm pretty sure she wasn't groggy. She had to be fighting him. There's no way that she just laid there and let this happen. This is things I have not heard. I'm glad I found this.
Infamously diagnosed Gypsy with Munchausen by proxy victimhood via the internet, claimed she might have struggled to know if death was real. A baffling assertion, given she orchestrated the whole thing. In a 2018 prison interview, Gypsy said she was terrified and had taken medication not prescribed to me to calm down. At 1:16 a.m., she asked Nick if he needed any anxiety medication after the event. Minutes later, she texted about back pain and exercising her legs, the same fully functional legs she long insisted didn't work. She later claimed she was high on Xanax at the time. Anxiety disorder? Out of 100 doctors she claims she has seen, not a single one noted signs of an anxiety disorder. Whatever, but Xanax or no Xanax, nothing stopped her from placing the knife in Nick's hands the moment he walked through Didi's door.
That's right.
On June 9th,
remember,
2024,
also remember, she told him, oh, don't bother putting the gloves on, right? Remember that? No, don't bother putting the gloves on, because she wanted his fingerprints all over it.
Right, because she wanted... Yeah.
I don't think he realized that she was setting him up like that. He never realized it until they went to jail, and then he was like, oh, shit, you know? Wow.
Proudly uploaded a photo to her social media of herself and Ken Urker holding a sonogram of their unborn daughter
with her? How can
a year
you do
later,
that?
on June 9th, 2025, she posted.
I don't know how Ken Urker, all of this is out now. Ken Urker, oh, I want to talk him out. I want to talk him out. How in the world is he still with her, knowing that she planned every bit of this, that she has lied to him the whole time about who planned what? And the fact that she has admitted that she was lying about being in the wheelchair the whole time. How? How can he not take his child and run? It makes no sense. He's not that money hungry, is he?
The same sonogram, attaching a reflection.
Well, I can't imagine she's bringing in that much money right now.
Well, I mean, no, probably not. Well, I don't know. She got that new TikTok account, and I think it already had like 17,000 people. I mean, it's not a million, but still 17,000 people is a lot, right? It happened very quickly. So I guess she's going to make more money off of freaking TikTok. I mean, I don't understand. Whoever
well, I'm sure she blew through all the money from the book and from the TV show. I mean, who knows if she is making payments on that car, but she bought a new car. So I doubt she's one to save money. She probably if she's buying $3,000 wigs and
oh god, yeah, that's right, it's $5,000
dyeing them with box dye. She's not real smart.
No, that's a very expensive hair piece, you know. And it's probably it's real hair. It's probably real hair. And what a way to blow money when you got a baby.
And she's dyeing it with box dye and cutting it herself. I mean,
what an idiot. Who thinks that she is getting WIC and public assistance? Raise your hand if you think she's getting public assistance because she's unmarried with a baby. Raise your hand. I believe she is. I believe she's found a way to do that. I believe she's not reporting money that she's making. I believe she's showing that she blew through all that money, or that money has been placed in somebody else's name. That's what I think. I don't know. But, yeah.
Aurora for the first time. But today also marks 10 years since the death of my mother. She then described Didi, the actual victim, as a woman not known for love before the abuse she inflicted upon me. A callous framing, especially given the reality of what happened and who truly suffered. The problem: phone records, text messages, and a cab driver's log show beyond any doubt that Nicholas Bodejon didn't arrive at Didi's home until after 2 a.m. on the 10th of June 2015, which raises a simple question. If Didi was unalive after 2 a.m. on the 10th, how exactly is June 9th the anniversary of her mother's death?
Social
media followers quickly spotted the inconsistency. One asked, didn't Nick get there on the 10th? Gypsy's reply was as slippery as ever. He was inspired.
She told on herself right there. Right there. She's claiming it's the 9th, but he didn't get there until the 10th. Hello. I mean, I will still till the end of time will tell you I believe that she did some of the stabbing. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Springfield on the evening of the 9th, and it happened overnight into the early morning of the 10th. For those convinced Gypsy herself unalived Didi before Nick's arrival, this kind of vague, elastic storytelling was a gift. That's interesting. It seems someone in Gypsy's circle had to point out the obvious. Gypsy, the version you've been selling for a decade is that your mother died on June 10th. Within hours, the post was edited to read, 1 year ago, we saw Aurora for the first time. But today, June 10th, also marks 10 years since the death of my mother.
So she
a slip of the tongue, or a fraudulent crack in the facade. Hard to say, but imagine playing a central role in your own mother's murder,
Does it
whether
sound
by
robotic
hand
to
or
anyone?
by
Okay,
orchestration,
yeah.
and not remembering the
I sped it up.
Love her or loathe her. Dee Dee deserved far better than to have her final moments misremembered by the daughter who helped end her life. According to the police report, in the early hours of Wednesday, June 10th, 2015, a yellow cab picked Nicholas Godejan up from his motel at precisely 1:57 a.m., dropping him at Dee Dee's home at 2:06 a.m. Just before he left, at 1:14 a.m., Gypsy sent him one last helpful pointer. My house has the ramp, and the front porch ramps is painted white. Just to make sure the arrow hit dead center.
What arrow hits dead center? What are you talking
just
about?
to make sure the arrow hit dead center. I'm confused.
What is that? What is that?
My house has the ramp. Oh, okay. My house has the ramp.
Okay. What is the arrow hits dead center? I think it's your connection, because why don't you go out and come back in, and I'll just talk for a minute while you go out and come back in, because this is very interesting. What does she mean by that arrow dead center?
You sound fine. It's just LED doesn't sound fine to me.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, she sounds fine to me, but I also sped it up, and let me see if I can, hang on a second. Let me see if I can fix something over here.
Arrow hits dead center may just be a figure of speech.
Okay. There's this. Let me see if there's anything I can do over here to change. It's auto-generated. Okay. Let me see if this helps anything. All right, here. Maybe we can kind of, watch what she's saying.
And the front porch ramp is painted white. Okay, to make sure he got the right house.
She's speaking really fast.
In 2019, Nick described that on arriving to Dee Dee's house, he heard two voices in his head. One, an angel. The other, a devil. The angel's advice was clear. Take her, Gypsy, and run. Nick admits, I wish I would have listened. That would have been the right thing to do. It would have been the right thing to do years earlier. But then came the devil. The Dee Dee is dead. Nick also added with sincerity, no child should ever have to get raised that way. My heart goes out to Gypsy for that. Our hearts go out to Nick for believing it. In a separate 2019 prison interview, Nick reflected, unfortunately, I listened to my darker side because I wanted to be with her. And I remember what she said. She never wanted to run away, so I couldn't get that to work. When Nick arrived, Gypsy,
but she still ran away.
To the earlier plan, opened the front door herself and handed him blue latex gloves before giving him the weapon. In their messages the day before, she told him the squeaky screen door will be left ajar with the gloves waiting outside. But the early hours of the 10th, she was messaging again. By the way, the gloves are blue. Nick recalls she insisted he put them on before either door is open.
But that's
the more
not
likely
exactly what
reason,
was said.
Gypsy wasn't about to risk waking Dee Dee up and seeing the plan fall apart. On June 9th at 8:37 p.m., Gypsy had text, I'll hand him Victor the knife and duct tape inside, darling. It's pre-cut already. The Minnie Mouse duct tape, originally planned for Dee Dee's muffling, was abandoned.
There?
Though a roll of duct tape was later seen in crime scene photos, looking completely out of place in Dee Dee's bedside drawer.
Yeah, that's weird.
The weapon Gypsy passed to Nick was a KVD curved knife with a 6-inch blade. One side serrated and the other side.
That's just cruel.
Stolen by Gypsy from Walmart's fishing aisle. Whether Gypsy removed the sheath before handing it over is unknown. But let's be honest, probably. At Nick's 2018 trial, the cab driver testified she saw him head towards the rear of the house, not the front door. In the police interview, Nick claimed he entered through the front. Was he meeting someone before going inside, or just disoriented in the dark? Arriving at a house he had never visited before. Whatever the case, by then, the wheels were already in motion. Nick told police in 2015 that when he stepped inside Dee Dee's house, I couldn't believe how much of a pigsty it was. Pigsty may have been putting it mildly, though not for the reason Nick likely imagined. Dee Dee, struggling with her mobility and deteriorating health, had long since stopped prioritizing housework. What's harder to excuse is the presence of a healthy 23-year-old daughter in the same home who simply chose not to bother. Yet, this wasn't always the case. A post dated June 18, 2015 on Web Sleuths described a prior visit to the Blanchard's home. The home was immaculate. There wasn't anything out of place aside of a few dishes in the sink. The writer noted that this had been the norm on multiple visits. Something had changed. Either Dee Dee's health had finally forced her to surrender to the mess, or she had been made to give up by circumstances. And nothing, not illness nor circumstances, had prevented Gypsy from picking up a mop. So that's interesting because Dee Dee, the house was normally kept clean. The house was normally kept really clean. But Dee Dee is in really bad.
See, I don't know how she can say the house was normally kept really clean. When you see the pictures, you see how much shit is in that house. Was it just all lined up against the wall and that's what they called clean? Or was
that was a hoarder house.
It was a hoarded house, exactly.
That was a hoarder house. Yeah.
There's no, those wheelchairs, the wheelchairs had dust on them because they could not even fit through any of the hoarded up mess. Okay, weird.
And now all of a sudden it's in horrible condition.
Yeah.
And Gypsy's clearly not cleaning it.
Of course not.
And it's funny because Gypsy's like, my mom was a hoarder when she was with Ryan. Oh, the refrigerator reminds me of my mom. I can't do it. But yet, really, in reality, the house did not get to be like that until the last few months of Dee Dee's life.
That's crazy.
Gypsy later recalled, Nick, came in and he was wearing a hoodie and dark clothing and a scary t-shirt that had evil clowns on it. She had known since the night before that her Prince Charming's costume purchase wasn't going to be worn. Nick had told her that he had chosen all black because my evil side picked the outfit.
Okay, wait a
Gypsy
minute.
told one version of events in 2018. The plan was that he would put on the gloves and come in. And
did she say a Prince Charming outfit? That he chose not to wear the Prince Charming outfit? Is that what I heard? Wow. That is really going far.
All I just had to do was go into the bathroom and keep quiet. That's not the plan that she and Nick actually discussed. The night before the unaliving, she had texted him to say she shaved her private parts, a detail Nick followed up by asking her to shave her legs. Her reply, I will do my legs as soon as he knocks. Later that night, she warned him, if it doesn't go right, run out the house as fast as you can, hon. Nick's response, baby, there's no other option. He is going to finish her no matter what. Gypsy's reply,
again,
okay,
that
darling,
third person.
He is right. I respect and admire that. So much for hiding in the bathroom solely for safety. Apparently, it was also an opportune time for personal grooming. Two birds, one stone. Gypsy told Dr. Phil that after handing Nick the knife, he barked, get your ass in the bathroom now.
That never
Nick's
happened.
recollection is similar. Get in the bathroom. I just wanted this over with. In Nick's mind, there was no turning back. He says he paused for a minute, thinking about whether he should go through with it, before deciding he couldn't break his word to Gypsy.
That's the
For
saddest
him,
part.
keeping that promise was a matter of love and loyalty, tragically misplaced, but genuine in his mind. Years later, Gypsy told Dr. Phil she wished Nick had simply offered to help get her out of the situation by contacting the police.
Oh my God.
She went further, claiming Nick exploited her, a bitterly ironic charge from the person who spent years weaving a narrative to
my God,
to bind him to her, only to aim
that
him like
called
a
whenever
weapon
you,
at her mother. Gypsy has
what you're
offered
doing, you put on somebody
inconsistent
else.
accounts
There's a
of her
word for
time in the
that.
bathroom, fetal position, kneeling with my hands over my ears,
Oh,
both
for
meant
God's
to evoke
sake.
helplessness. But with just over an hour of life left to Dee Dee, Gypsy texts Nick, and how long must I hold my ears, hon? His reply,
They're in the
5
same
minutes.
house.
The bathroom opposite Dee Dee's bedroom and separated only by a narrow hallway placed her within 30 feet of her mother's final moments. The bedroom door had been removed long before, ensuring
So there was
Gypsy
no
would
bedroom
hear
door.
every cry, every plea. Whether she was cowering or shaving, the sound would have reached her, and she did nothing. In her 2024 memoir, the literary equivalent of a late-night infomercial for self-pity, Gypsy claims with a straight face that she answered the door to Nick in her electric wheelchair. As if that weren't implausible enough, she also insists in the same book that Dee Dee never allowed her to use her electric wheelchair. Oh, and she knocked back 3 more Vicodin. Has she run out of Xanax?
Has she ran out of Xanax?
The mental
Yeah,
gymnastics required
questions.
to believe both statements simultaneously could qualify you for the Olympics.
Wow. I can't believe that she lied. Well, yeah, you can. Yeah. But
The
here's the
content on this
thing.
page, okay, we're not going to read that.
How come Dr. Phil could not see through her damn lies? I have no respect for him anymore now. Because he should have been able to see this so easily. Isn't he a, psych doctor?
Yeah.
Or is
Forensic
he just
psychologist?
Yeah. Or is he just another Dr. John who just reads things in books and then spits that out, just like, from Hidden True Crime? Is it the same thing over there? I thought Dr. Phil was a real doctor. So that's so strange that he could not see through it. It's really strange.
You guys already know that. According to Nick's 2015 police statement, Dee Dee was asleep on her stomach when he entered her bedroom, a position he described as allowing easy access to her body. She was wearing a white nightie, loosely covered by blankets, with no undergarments, something Nick claimed he didn't realize until after unaliving her.
Oh, wow.
We don't know if the small hallway into Dee Dee's bedroom was lit, but court records show the doctor who LED lights across the headboard were possibly on as a light in her closet.
Oh, wow. Sad.
Earlier that morning, Gypsy had texted Nick. She sleeps on her tummy, like I said, but light sleeper, hon. Nick claims he climbed on top of Dee Dee's back and stabbed her in random spots. That first blow, combined with the weight on top of her, would have shocked her awake. Confusion, pain, and terror flooding in all at once. In his interview, Nick recalled Dee Dee saying, "Hell, then who are you?" She struggled, but straddled as she was, could not fend him off. Nick is left-handed, and says he only used one hand on the knife. Gypsy heard the scream. In 2015, she called it a startled scream. In 2017, she remembered Dee Dee waking up startled and making noises, but she couldn't make out what the noises were.
Oh, my God.
2018, she said she covered her ears, though, and thought, "I want this to stop now," but was too afraid to go and help. Or perhaps too busy shaving her short, stumpy legs. The same year, she added, she sounded startled, like, "Who's there?" In 2019, she told yet another version. Dee Dee screamed once, then again, and asked who was in the bedroom. To Dr. Phil, Gypsy said Dee Dee's scream broke my heart because there was no going back. She claimed part of her wanted to save her mother because there were good parts to her, but another part wanted it over so she could be free. Freedom, of course, could have been achieved by simply leaving with Nick when he arrived, but instead, she handed him a stolen knife. If Dee Dee had tried to evict the Gypsy days earlier, perhaps she was the one seeking the freedom. In her interview, Gypsy said she knew what Nick was doing, but was too afraid to intervene. She told Dr. Phil that Nick warned her Victor might hurt her too, which is another lie, as Nick told the police he would never lay a hand on Gypsy. Nick told police it was his evil side speaking during the attack, saying
that was such a weird interview.
Stop resisting me. You know you're dead. And never get between me and Ruby. Gypsy remembered him saying,
"You'll never get between me and Ruby." Not even about Gypsy. Now it's about Ruby, this made-up character. That's crazy, isn't it? The whole thing is crazy. We already knew that. But when you watch this interview and you watch him really starting to calculate in his mind about what's actually happened here, and he starts realizing that, oh, hell, I'm being thrown under the bus. See, I think that's what Alex Cox finally realized in the Daybell Vallow murders, because he realized suddenly he was being thrown under the bus. But it was too late. He'd already done all the deeds, That's another situation that's very, how can a sister talk their brother into participating in such a thing to take the life of her children in the name of God? I will never understand that.
Yeah.
This apart. You'll be dead before that happens.
It's just amazingly sad.
Dee Dee might initially have thought it was a random attack, but there's the heartbreaking possibility she realized who was attacking her and her daughter might be involved. Gypsy claims Dee Dee cried her name for help 3 or 4 times, but says fear kept her frozen. Nick confirmed Dee Dee yelped for Gypsy, but Gypsy didn't do anything. Gypsy says she didn't think anything, hid by the toilet, and covered her ears.
Oh, boy.
Crime scene photos show there wasn't much room beside the toilet. That space largely taken by a cat litter tray full of
I guess she sat in the cat litter, I guess, you know. You know that stunk of hell.
Gypsy has never expressed empathy for Dee Dee in her dying moments. No, it must have been awful for her. No, it must have been awful for her. No, she must have been terrified. No, my poor mother. Only me, the victim. Too afraid, too scared, terrified. Then it went quiet. Dee Dee was dead, and Gypsy got exactly what she was wanting. Were her first thoughts remorse? No. Instead, she likened herself to a little bluebird trapped in an invisible cage, finally set free. Because nothing says justice for Mom quite like comparing her brutal stabbing to an uplifting Disney subplot.
Well, but see, everything she did was like a, oh God. She lived her whole life, and she's still trying to do it, as if she's some kind of special Disney princess of some sort that's just out here in the world who deserves to get everything for free, and that everybody needs to bow down to her because she's so effing special. Just wild. Well, I mean, again, sociopath right there. Right there.
During his 2015 police interview, Nicholas Godejohn was asked, "Do you know how many times you stabbed her?" Nick held up 4 fingers. 4? The detective clarified. "You stabbed her 4? Yeah, 4 times," Nick confirmed, before adding, "The 4th one, I felt it go into, I think it might have been in her
pretty bad
because it was harder to get out." He described having to yank the knife from the last one, though the others came out easier. The questioning circled back repeatedly. "You only stabbed her 4 times? Are you sure about that?" Nick maintained,
and I know he told the truth.
"Well, as in stabbing, I stabbed 4 times. But I did actually cut her 1 more time besides that,
So
on the back of her neck. That wound," he said, "had bled." Later, the detectives pressed, "Any reason to think you stabbed her more than 4 times?" "Not that I'm aware of," Nick replied. They asked if Gypsy stabbed Dee Dee. No, he insisted. "So when you say 4 actual stabs, those went in deeper?" "Yeah. There might have been smaller ones?" "There might have been smaller ones," he admitted. "Because the truth is, I counted the ones that went in deep. I didn't count any others." The detective then suggests perhaps there were shallow wounds he didn't recall. And Nick, now second-guessing himself, went along with it. When asked where he stabbed Dee Dee, Nick faltered. "I honestly can't remember. I think it's just a blockage because of the guilt." Thomas Vanderperk, chief forensic investigator with the Greene County Medical Examiner's Office, examined Dee Dee's body in her bed and attended her autopsy. His findings dismantled Nick's version. Dee Dee had not been stabbed 4 times. She had been stabbed 17 times. 14 stab wounds marked her back. 1 pierced just above her collarbone. 2 more entered her head just above her neck. There were also wounds to her neck, including 1 behind her right ear, 1 large incision wound to the back of her neck, both cut down to the bone of her cervical spine. Nick had in 2015 told police, "I did actually cut her 1 time besides that, on the back of her neck." The forensic records show otherwise. Those neck injuries were not single glancing cuts. They were deliberate, forceful, and deep. 1 slice through the left lung pierced the pericardial sac and entered the left atrium of the heart. 2 stabbed through the right lung, diaphragm, and into the liver. 3 more entered into the right lung alone. A defensive wound marked the ring finger of Dee Dee's left hand, a final futile attempt to ward off the blade. Forensic expert Joseph Scott Morgan explained, "She was essentially suffocating to death in her own blood."
In her own blood. Oh, God.
This is a far cry from Nick's polite 4 deep stabs narrative.
Yeah.
And this is why speculation persists that more than 1 person attacked Dee Dee. The pattern suggests 2 styles. Deep panic thrusts consistent with Nick's description of a struggle, and smaller tentative jabs, the more that don't face resistance or urgency. It's why some argue that there was another assailant, possibly before Nick entered the room, during his speech, or after he left.
See, I always wondered that, and I will always question that. I've always wondered if maybe Dan had been there and kind of assisted in this. I don't know. I just wonder. I wonder if somebody else was there. I wonder if she did some of the wounds. I just wonder about that. It's just, I don't know. It just seems too much
Makes
for
you
one
wonder.
person, And because she says the 9th and then the 10th. I mean, it's just so many things, and the fact that he will not ever tell the damn truth what happened that night. He has always left out one thing that he said, I told her I would take it to my grave. What the hell you take it to your grave? Because that is the reason why you're in prison, Nick. I went out today and looked to see if his this final appeal that he's doing, if that 3-judge panel had made a decision yet. And there's still no decision. It's still pending out there. So I check every day to see if the answer has come out yet. I think we're going to stop right here because I really do need to get off. It's 10:36. I need to get off and I can't stay on. I need to go, but we'll come back and do some more Gypsy Rose. Maybe tomorrow or the next day. But I'm absolutely going to go back to Ruby Frankie and Jody Hildebrandt because there's some other things I want to talk about with that case and those children and how this all kind of ties into the Mormon Church. And somebody had left a comment on one of our lives about how it really wasn't fair to bring this into this blame the state of Utah or something to that effect. Well, that's not exactly what I said, but this all does. It absolutely ties back to the Mormon teaching. It just does. Now, there is something I watched earlier about Joseph Smith, and he really was a fraud. I mean, and this comes out in some information about an arrest from back in the, I want to say late 1800s, something. Anyway, I came across this and I'm like, okay, we need to talk about this because when you go back to the beginning of when he wrote the Book of Mormon and all that, and you find out that he was absolutely a fraud, and then people are, okay, just it's fake. Anyway, we'll talk about that again. Maybe tomorrow we can do that. You want to do that tomorrow, Sprinkle? What are your plans tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I work tomorrow, so.
Oh, okay. Well, what time are you going to get off? Let me know when you're going to get off, and we'll just come back and do Ruby Frankie and Jody Hildebrandt tomorrow night. Sound good?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. I'll let you know.
All right.
Yeah, I'll let you know
Now,
for sure.
I'll send you that material that I have found on this thing with him and his fraud because one of the things that it was is some kind of having some kind of something where he could go onto your property and tell you where treasure was buried. I mean, it was this kind of a fraud thing. It was just it's wild. It's just wild. I can't wait to share that. But anyway, we'll talk about that tomorrow. You all have a good evening. Thank you for stopping by. We always appreciate you coming in. Listen whenever you can. It's fine. We just ask that you hit that thumbs up or that like button on your way in or you weren't on your way out. I always forget to ask. I'm asking. So anyway, please do that. Take care of yourselves. Be careful out there and take us on out, Sprinkle.
Hug your babies.
That's right. Life is short and it's even shorter with your children. So we'll see y'all tomorrow. Take it easy. Good night.
All right. Good night, everybody.